It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. We got a monster jam-packed episode with a major guest, Eric Andre, who is a fucking brilliant, mad scientist, chaos comedian.
It was the first interview I've had in a long time. I can't even remember the last one where I was nervous going into it.
Yeah.
I was very scared to interview because I thought he was going to Eric Andre me. I thought it was going to be like talking to KB and fucking Nick and be like, I don't get, like, are you making fun of me or not?
Yes. Like I get nervous to interview Bill Burr because I think he's just like this like no bullshit, no nonsense, legendary comedian. I got nervous to interview Eric Andre where I was like, did you guys like look up my address and someone's going to like pop through the window and like dump something on my head while we do this? But it turns out like as crazy as Eric Andre is, he's a pretty like low key dude who's just like, this is just like, I can make funny shit by being like crazy. He's not like
pina coladas.
Yeah,
play in the bass.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but Eric Andre drinking pina coladas in this interview is just great. So he's a solo by himself. We didn't even fuck around with any other guests because I think he's that important of an interview. And we just got a shit ton of topics to talk about. Our voicemails, our top fives. We're coming in fucking hot to start the week.
I'm coming in exceptionally hot. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we're selling my house. Not we. My parents are selling my house.
Right.
And there was a showing today. So people came to look at it. So you got to get the hell out of the house when they come.
Right.
And we went to just a coffee shop to hang out. I had no idea how long these things take. Apparently, if you're going to spend a shitload of money on a house, you only look at it for about a half hour. It is. You do not spend much time looking through this thing. You're going.
Well, you know what it is? I've done it before where, you know, you're looking and it's like, okay, well, I'm not an architect. I'm not a construction worker. I don't really know what I'm like walking around being like, is this load bearing? Like, what's the dimensions of this room? It's like, I don't know. There's a few bedrooms, a bathroom. Is it going to fall down? I don't know. Probably I should have done a little more because I ended up buying a fucking house that lives underwater. But yeah, your point is true. Where it's just people are like, I don't know, looks good. Let's leave, honey.
They were here for like 35 minutes, but we me and my family went to a coffee shop down the street to like, you know, we didn't really know where else to go. We're just going to sit in the car.
Right.
And I wanted to fit in. I was peer pressure, so I drank coffee and I am zooming right now. I don't
know.
Oh, boy. I'm
Johnny Caffeine is on a whole other level. Let's go.
I just drank a small black coffee is all I had. So again, I didn't want to be sitting in a coffee shop not drinking coffee like a psychopath. So I got a coffee and I'm very scatterbrained and I'm very jittery and this is the fucking worst.
No, I mean, we've got a lot to talk about. As a host here, I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to fit all this in. I just spilled a whole fucking thing of water. Can you see this? It looks like I pissed my pants. I mean, we got ourselves an episode. First off, I am fully obsessed with the Chris D'Elia saga and the fallout and the comedian world and all that shit that's going on, which continues to just get deeper and weirder. We've now, Whitney Cummings finally spoke out and just called him a fucking creep. The cancel culture is now coming for Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan. I think there's a lot of other rumors swirling. I think that shit's going to continue to get uglier and uglier, and not just for Chris D'Elia. I feel like, by the way, like, Chris D'Elia's silence is fucking deafening, right? I mean, I think that
he wasn't silent. He made a statement that didn't deny it.
So, yeah, right.
Yeah, it happened.
And that, to me, like...
I forget what his exact quote was, but it was something along the lines of, it seems to be the company line is, I didn't break the law. So it is those, like, you know, the age of consent is always much younger than you thought it was, as we've joked about many times. You think it's 18 across the board. It is not 18 in many places.
It's more often not 18 than it is, I feel like.
More states are 16. I think the most states are 16. And
so this was D'Elia's statement that he gave to TMZ. I know I have said and done things that might have offended people during my career, but I never knowingly pursued any underage woman at any point. All of my relationships have been legal and consensual, and I have never met or exchanged any inappropriate photos with the people who have tweeted about me. That being said, see, that's also weird. It's like, this has never happened, but also I'm sorry. It's like, well, that being said, I'm really, truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely, in caps locks, let myself get caught up in my lifestyle. That's my fault. I own it. I've been reflecting on this for some time now, and I will promise to continue to do better, which also reads to me like, you know, I knew this was coming. I mean, dude, the original tweets and allegations were from like 2013. So, you know, when that girl was like, you're 30, and he's like 42 now or some shit. So this has been going on a long time. I think that when you see how many allegations and screenshots there were, and then you think about like that's the tip of the iceberg. What's going on beneath the water is probably 100 times more than that. And the Biebs just got hit with an allegation overnight. And did you see what he did? He came with the fucking receipts, literally the receipts for Airbnbs, for the Westin that he stayed in. He had screenshots with like the time and the date circled like the fucking Zapruder film. He was like, Selena was there. Look at this picture. She's in the background. I was at the Four Seasons restaurant, not the Four Seasons hotel. And like, I feel like that's kind of what you do when, you're innocent and you have the alibi or you have the reasons behind it. When you just sit there and you're in dead silent for over a week now, other than a completely controlled and like sanitary press release to TMZ. I mean, I feel like that's basically almost an admission, no?
I would say, yeah. Again, I don't think the silence is the admission. I think the admission is
the admission. Yeah.
He's like, I didn't break the law. I let myself get wrapped up. I don't know. Again, like if your response to all these people being like he's a creep, and that's what we said. Like I don't think anyone ever said he broke the law because I don't know the fucking law.
Right.
But you just like that's creep.
Yeah.
I don't need to fucking go to law school to feel like that's a fucking strange way.
From Jump Street, I was saying like I don't think he's going to jail because I do think there's enough. A lot of those allegations were just like unsavory behavior with like a 19-year-old girl, and you treated her like shit, and it was creepy. But hey, that's not illegal. That's probably like, lesson learned for you that you shouldn't be like fucking around with in that situation. But I never thought it was going to be illegal. I thought it was just going to be, the court of public opinion is going to cancel you. And to be honest, in some cases with all that D'Elia had, it's almost like cancel. Worse.
I hate the word cancel so much.
Yeah. I mean, it really is the idea of like cancel culture has now taken on its own life where it's like, it's weird because we're talking about very serious shit that you shouldn't just be like, I hate this, but that's where we're at. With
I don't hate the act or the whatever you want to say about the act. People are like, it's not real. It's real. Fucking, I don't know. I just hate the phrase. I just hate phrases. That's my thing.
Anything but it really does. It's like Karens, right? It's like these people are still being assholes and they probably should be like exposed and called out or whatever. But when I see a Karen, I'm like, I'm not even going to watch it. I don't even want to read this story. And like, that's, you're beating it to death in a bad way because now we're not talking about, things we should really. I also, so the latest on the heels of the D'Elia thing is now Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz. Rogan, I feel like it's a tough spot to be like, we had Chris D'Elia on our show. You know what I mean? Like, are we like complicit in his behavior? No. Now, Joe Rogan takes it to a level where he like props everybody up and like raises careers and elevates people's status. So I understand it's different than just like, hey, I had him on my show. But I think it's tough to be like, you had someone on your podcast, you were friends with someone, they were doing some shit that you didn't really know about. This is the other thing, by the way. I understand the notion that when you're around someone and you're friends with someone and you know someone that like you would probably have an inkling if some crazy shit was going on. But by the way, people don't broadcast if they're fucking underage girls. They try to keep that stuff secret. They try to keep it quiet.
There's been all the clips coming out of like other comedians talking about it. Like, oh yeah, D'Elia. Like, I was gonna like fuck with D'Elia. I just like dressed like an underage girl. Or,
yeah,
like, I was gonna fuck with D'Elia. I just dressed like a 17-year-old girl. Like, it seems like it was pretty broadcast.
Right. Well, like Theo has made a couple comments saying, yeah, if I was gonna rob Chris D'Elia, I'd dress up like a 17-year-old girl. There was another clip where he was like, he has an army of underage girls as his like audience. But like, I mean, dude, I say that about Dave. Like, Dave, your entire Go Press Go crowd are teenagers. I don't think that he's fucking teenagers though. Like I think there is a level where it's like, you can know that there's some like weird shit about this guy, but not necessarily make the jump to like, he's, fucking them. And by the way, we talked about this last week. What's it called?
I think it's different with boys and girls though. I think it's funny with like GoPros Go 15-year-old Steve. I think like if you're just like, if everyone you hang out with is an underage girl, I think like there's nothing normal about either one. but I think that it's not crazy to be like, well, he's probably having sex with them.
It's great. It's like, oh, it's wild.
Not a good thing, obviously, but it's not a huge mental leap to be like, yeah, they're probably sleeping with them.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Tim Dillon's podcast this week, and he was addressing it, and he was like, you know, he's like, I'm the opposite of Chris D'Elia. I'm not like the cool guy. I'm not the sexy guy. And I don't have girls like running up to me after my set being like, oh my God. So like, if you saw all that shit, if you saw like young, like, or like even maybe not even young, but just like hot chicks running up on a guy every time he's out in public or every time he's performing, you know, it's probably like, whoa, there's some weird shit going on here. And yeah, of course, you know, you go to the inner circle, everyone's always going to start to have questions like, well, how much did you know? But like, I don't know. I do feel like people still keep a lot of shit quiet, even from, you know, their best friends or their coworkers or whatever. You know, it's a real bad sign when like I learned the word hebephile, right? We talked about this last week, like, or arenaphile, whatever it is. Like when you have brought a term like that to the forefront, that's not good. You don't want, like, your lasting legacy is we all learn there's a difference between fucking 16 to 19-year-olds and below that. That's not a legacy you want to have, man. But as far as Rogan, I think is I mean, above like all of this. Like, I don't think until there's like any real allegations with him, if he were to do something, I don't think you can come at a guy who A, is just having people on his show, and B, is as popular as he is. You can't like cancel someone if their fans don't want to cancel them.
Right.
Really. You know what I mean?
I think Tim tweeted that the other day, and it is like a great point in the podcasting world where like you can't just get rid of a fan base because they like it. If they're not willing to abandon ship, then guess what? You can't like have someone lose their. I guess you could go after advertisers and shit like that. But if fans don't care, then I mean, it's the same thing with like fucking any athlete who's ever had allegations. Like they don't people liked Kobe, right? It didn't matter what happened in Eagle Rock or whatever it was, and people like Ray Lewis, and people, it didn't fucking matter. We like him anyway.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's where Joey Diaz is at right now too, which is a little bit of a different situation because the Joey Diaz clip that has gone viral is one that it's horrific. It's horrifying. He's talking about how he made this girl suck his dick to get on stage, and he says like, I broke her. Now,
he went out of his way to
like he wanted to point that out,
almost like to confess. Really, like it was even like. You tell stories or whatever, and you kind of you exaggerate. And he's like, "I'm not kidding. I want everyone to stop laughing. I'm dead serious about like literally ruining a woman's life."
That seems to be the response from comedians who know him are like, he was on a podcast telling stories with the boys, exaggerating. It was from like a long time ago where like, and I don't even, as crazy as Uncle Joey Diaz is, I don't even think he'd be making those kind of jokes now because it's like, it was, I don't know. Rogan was still like in his fucking like apartment when you were recording. I don't even know when that was. So I think it was very old. But every comedian seems to be
not a joke.
Right. Well, and that's what's weird is he was like, this is real. Every comedian who's like coming to his defense is like, no, it's a joke. And I'm like, but he's not saying it was. The guy who said it is saying like it was real, but every comic who knows him, all the female comics who have like traveled with him and gone on the road are like, he treats me like gold. I'm like, well, doesn't sound like he treated that girl like gold. Josh Wolf had a whole tweet thread explaining that they were like, you're talking about two drug addicts who used to like fuck in the bathroom of the Comedy Store, and like everybody knew what was going on. Everyone knew it was fucked up, but it wasn't as he characterized it in this story. But I'm like,
why would you make it worse?
What's that?
Why would you tell the story and make it worse if that's not what it is?
Yeah, that's well, I mean, I can't get inside anybody's head, but I do know there are people who want to sound the craziest and the baddest and have the wildest story.
I don't know anything about it. I've heard his name. I don't know anything about him.
He kidnapped him. He went to jail. He kidnapped a man and went to jail for it. He's like, his first response afterwards was like, I don't even hear people crying about the man that I kidnapped. I don't know why we're talking about this girl, which forget whether you think that that's funny or if you're offended by like the way he's
How could that possibly be funny?
I don't personally find it funny, but I mean, there's two spectrums here. There's the people who like want, comedy is moving in that like clean direction where they don't want any of this type of like offensive shit. And I think there's the other extreme where people like that stuff. They want it to be, they want to hear crazy stories. They want to hear, salacious
I don't think
shit.
comedy's moving in the clean direction.
I definitely think it is.
I think people have been saying that about comedy since it was invented.
Yeah, but the major difference now,
comedy.
Yeah, but I think the major difference now is like social media, where it's like if you get loud enough and rally enough people around who believe in what you believe in, you're just not gonna like, you might not like be canceled, as we say, but I don't think
the police used to bust into comedy clubs and arrest people for swearing.
Right, but I also feel like that almost like galvanize them in a way for the audience who does like it. I feel like if you just get enough people who are against that type of comedy, and then it almost like persuades people who might like it to be like, well, I can't like openly like Joey Diaz on Twitter anymore because, it's like the way Rogan and Joey Diaz are getting like roped in. I feel like you almost as a fan kind of get roped in on it. And I definitely think it can like impact your potential success.
I don't know. I think societal like views on what's funny and don't just always are ever changing. I don't know if it's like trying to get comedy clean. I don't think that. I just think comment on commentary on comedy, but like there's.
I think it's more. I don't think that. I don't think the same shit that used to plays as well with like a whole new chunk of society. It's almost like in 21 Jump Street, in 21 Jump Street when they go back to school and everything that was cool is now lame and everything that was lame is now cool. And like Channing Tatum's like, I don't know how to fucking do this anymore. Yeah. I feel like that.
Yeah, but that's just society. That's just how the world works.
Right.
That's always like stuff that was really clean 15 years. Like Seinfeld doesn't really play anymore. Seinfeld's not this like
But
evil.
that's what I mean. So don't you feel like it's moving in that direction?
What?
So don't you feel like as comedy continues on, as the world continues on, that things are just getting like more and more clean, less and less offensive?
Not really. I think they're getting different.
I mean, you can't tell like a racist joke anymore, like the way you used to be able to.
But I think that's just I don't think anyone's like you can do it. You just got to be funny. I'm not saying anyone's going to stop you. I'm just saying you're not going to be as successful as you were 10, 20, 30 for whatever years ago. Yeah, people just think different things are funny. I don't think there's anything. If you do it funny, I think you can do it no matter what. But I just think
probably like Louis is like always the best example. Like he is just so undeniably funny that he can talk about whatever topics he wants and he can live the lifestyle he wants. But I think for the average comedian or like the whole like industry, it's just not going to be like the same really.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's like I don't think that's due to any one thing other than just like the world changed. I don't think anyone's like, I don't think it's like actively like we are trying to stamp out people who make jokes we don't like.
Some people are. I mean, I definitely think some people are.
But like, maybe like you're trying this particular person, but I don't think like they're like, all right, we're trying to change comedy as a whole. It's just like, I don't really like that comedian. And then,
well, yes, but also like when like Chappelle releases his stand up, and it's like the trans people don't like it, right? And it's like that. I can understand if like trans people are like, I don't like that, but I do think that starts to influence other people because of like social media and the internet, where it's like now I can't, if I wanted to like tweet or talk about how funny I thought that joke was, now I'm like, well, I'm going to be viewed as like a bigot because the trans people don't like this. So even though I found it funny, and I think Dave Chappelle is the master of this, and I think even if you're upset by his subject matter, you can't deny that like the way he crafts his work is well done. I think that's where it starts to be like, well, now it's influencing other people who maybe aren't even offended.
So it's influencing the people who want to say it was funny?
Yeah.
I mean, who cares?
Well, I think they care. I think the comedians care when it's like. Well,
I would bet that special was like one of, if not the most viewed special on Netflix. Do you think Chappelle really cares if you tweeted that joke was funny or not?
No, but then like the trickle down of like the lesser comedians who also have material about trans people or edgy, sexist, racist, whatever. Now they're not going to like make that next leap, you know? Like Chappelle's fine.
Good enough, they'll do it.
What?
I think if it's good enough, they'll just do it.
I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think eventually people will just like avoid it. It's like, I know I do. I don't write the same shit I used to write. I don't make the same jokes I used to make.
I don't write the shit. I write differently, no doubt about it. But I don't think, I'm never actively thinking about someone else. I'm just like, I don't really think this is funny. Like most of the stuff I've written, I don't think is funny. Like I'm embarrassed by things I wrote in a text message 15 minutes ago. It's like, right. Yes, I'm definitely different than I was, but maybe it is outside forces that are forcing me to change and trick me into it. But I just think things are different. I think different things are funny.
Yeah, like I mean, I would have in the past that clip of the Jewish kids protesting for their playgrounds when they were riding around the park on their like tricycles and shit. I would have had a field day with that. Like I don't know, 5 years ago, and I was like, I can't touch that anymore. So like some of it, I understand.
It's also not the worst thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like we said a couple weeks ago, like it's about growth, the maturity, and that's all well and good for like me as a person. But I just don't think it's good for any comedians or entertainers who have that sense of humor.
But if you thought something was really funny, if you thought you had a really good joke, you would have tweeted it.
I don't know.
You're just like, I feel like, I'm speaking for you, but I feel like in your head, you were like, it's not worth it. But if you were like, that's a home run, you'd still tweet it.
I know what you mean. And like 99% of the time I still do that. But I also am at a point where I'm like, I got too much shit to worry about that. Like it's not worth, I'm not saying that I don't think it's funny enough. I'm saying that if there's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Where I don't even, I've written so many blogs.
It's a fair question to ask before you ever do anything.
Yeah, it is. But like it depends on where you're at, I think. Like if I was at a different point in my career, I'd probably be like, I gotta be fucking funny and this is good and I gotta make my name and now I'm like, well, I got too much to lose and too much to worry about that. A 1 millionth blog on the topic that I've written.
All right, so what were you gonna say? I'll grade it right now. We'll see if it was worth it.
I don't even know. I didn't even let myself go down that angle. I mean, the thought of like a gang of Jewish kids riding on their razor scooters, like causing anarchy for their playgrounds. I definitely would have made jokes about their summer camps. Definitely would have been saying, if the parents can't send these kids away for the summer, that they got to at least be able to play in their playgrounds.
Wait, you tweeted that?
What?
You tweeted that?
Yeah, I know, but I would have been like, I would have gone in. I would have definitely gone in.
You sent the tweet.
Yeah, I know. And even that, I was like, and I got like heat for it. And I was like, could you imagine if I just wrote like a whole fucking blog about it? I mean, I just know that I definitely bite my tongue now. And I can't imagine I'm alone. And I do. So it's not like you have to worry about being like canceled per se. Your career is going to be over. I think it's just like my sense of humor is not going to be the majority sense of humor anymore. And I think there was a time where it was.
I guess. Yeah, but like, I mean, that's also part of just getting old.
I know. That's why I'm happy we got in and got out. Like when we did, like not out because we're still doing it. But like if we were starting now, I don't know what I would do. I would have to like come up with a whole new like style because I feel like
you would have a different style because you'd be younger.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, but that's what I think when you're in that, when you're already established.
You're just like being like, oh, this is a sad deal. Like I'm washed up.
I mean, I definitely feel that way. I definitely feel like, I've like made my work and I'll evolve enough that we can keep doing this shit. But I feel like my best years are absolutely behind me.
I mean, you're making me second guess this whole podcast.
I mean, what if all of a sudden like there was a movement that was just like, any of these like jokes about like sex are not going to fly anymore because it's promoting, whatever. Like it's making people uncomfortable. I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do now. We'll have to fucking reinvent the whole thing.
I don't think we talk about sex that much, but we probably just talk about things differently. I don't know. I think we're pretty good at evolving. I don't know where your self-doubt is coming from. But I don't know. I haven't found That's why I always just talk about myself. Because I'm very narcissistic and I can't get in trouble for talking about myself.
I mean, that they say the easiest easiest jokes to make are the ones that are true. I think that's why Chris D'Elia kept on taking fucking roles where he's just playing himself. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think we're like smart enough to evolve, and we can always be funny enough. I'm just saying, on the inside, I'm always like, well, I would have probably said this or said that, and I'll still find a way to be funny or entertaining. But I just know that I had to change. And I would imagine there's other people who feel the same way. And then there are guys at like the top, like Rogan, who's like, I don't fucking care to change. Or there's guys like Diaz, who is just a crazy person. He's just, whether or not you are horrified by him, whether or not you agree or disagree with like, he should no longer, he should be canceled. I think it's interesting to see a guy who's just like, I don't care. And you're not going to cancel me. And it's like, well, what next? What next from the mob? If it's like, all right, you threw your best punch and I just like, it didn't do anything. Do they just give up? Do you think people are going to keep trying to push Joey Diaz, or are they just going to be
honestly, we have very different timelines. You sent me that one video. I have not seen Joey Diaz's name tweeted at all.
Oh, well, I mean,
I didn't even see that video if it wasn't from you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely like follow along with like that whole comic circle, and it might even be more that he is like defending himself from not as much of an outrage. He's a well-known like legend in the comedy game, but it's not like he's going to be, front page news where like, your mom and your dad know what's going on. But in the podcasting world, in the comedy world, he's been around for like 50 years. So he's one of those kind of like stand-up legends. And, it's like,
I guess it's kind of a good example of Twitter where you're like, first of all, maybe he's just trying to build the bravado that he's trying to be canceled. Like, maybe it's not even happening because I honestly haven't seen that name.
Well, it's like we always say, like, people are saying, and it's like 2 or 3 tweets, I haven't dug in enough to like see the opposite side, like the people coming at him. But the point being that it's like, if there's like
so this whole thing is based on something neither of us have even seen?
No, I mean, I've definitely seen it. I for sure have seen people like outraged about Joey Diaz. No doubt. I'm just saying, like, I didn't look into it the same way. I read all the D'Elia accusations or whatever. I know that people are upset about that one video. I know that people he's crazy. He takes pictures with his nuts hanging out of his pants. He's kidnapped a man and went to jail for it. Like, we're not talking about, everyone thought that Chris D'Elia was like a squeaky clean guy, and he's fucking not. And that's why it's a big deal. Whereas Diaz is more like the Rodman type. And which we'll talk about Rodman with Eric Andre today. He has his own Dennis Rodman experiences that are fucking hilarious. But that's I think it's all cut from the same cloth of like when you're that crazy and you don't care and your audience doesn't overlap with anybody who's outraged, it doesn't matter. They can scream and yell, and there's this group over here. It's kind of like politics too. I mean, it's like the people who like Trump it doesn't matter if you expose him because they just don't care about it. And so you can't really be canceled if there's no like overlap and there's no like concern from the person who's being canceled. I think that's where we've always argued about like cancel culture, whether it's real or not. I think the biggest like piece of evidence that it's not real is if you just don't let it happen, you can't get canceled.
That's like a newer thing. But yes, if you could have been canceled if you're like on an NBC show, but if you have your own fanhood, your own audience, then
right. And it's like because of technology and because of like the barriers of entry are gone now and shit. But I think more and more, it's like, I mean, what else could you say about Donald Trump at this point? It's like they've said it all, and he's just like, nah. And everyone's like, well, fuck, what now? Like, okay, well, we found this one. We throw that allegation. Doesn't matter. It's like, it's scary. I mean, we've seen Dave do it. There are certain bulletproof people. You have to say it, and you have to really be confident. Because I think if you're saying like, I don't care, I don't read that, I don't care. It's like, we can tell you do care. But if you're truly, whether you got to be crazy like a Diaz or a Trump, or you got to be super successful like a Rogan, and you're just like, whatever, dude, then you can't be.
I agree with that.
Right? It's like, it's kind of, I for sure, like if I could go back and redo my whole scandal, I wouldn't have like talked about it. I wouldn't have done 2 hours of radio. I wouldn't have taken calls. I wouldn't have written blogs about it. I would have just been like, you guys don't know the fucking deal. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not going to talk about this. And I think everything would have gone differently for me.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that there was no reason for me to put all my business out there for people who don't know what the fuck is going on. And there was no reason for me to I can't paint that whole picture without being without sounding like I'm an asshole or out making people sound bad. So if you can't paint the whole picture really, I just wouldn't fucking talk about it.
I think that would have been, I don't fucking know, but I think you were so open. You weren't really open though before. You had pictures of the kids, but that was as open as it was.
Right.
Yes.
But again, like I just said, you have to really mean it. And I'm not like a Trump. I'm not like a Dave where I could be like, I don't give a fuck, because I did care. I was upset. I knew that I crossed the line I shouldn't have, but there was, there's other factors involved. But unless you can truly say it and be like, I don't care, moving on. But I think people would have saw through it that it's he does care. He is sad. He is upset. It is a bad situation. So you got to be truly sociopathic to be able to do that.
Well, speaking of Trump, that motherfucker cared this weekend. That was the best picture I ever seen in my life.
Dude, the one where he was walking back from his plane?
Yeah, if you let someone see you with a tie untied around your neck,
mm-hmm.
that is the universal sign for I am fucking depressed. It's that and the backpack. If you have a backpack on and one, I think we saw this before, one arm or whatever you call them, one strap is falling off your shoulder and you don't even care to put it back up, that's the other sign of the only people who have that happen are 3-year-olds coming home from getting bullied in kindergarten and me coming home from work.
Dude, I had this the other day. I had the backpack on, but the zippers were undone. And it was the kids' iPads were going to fall out. And I was gathering them up. And Caitlin was like, hang on, let me zip that up. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Just leave it as is. We'll talk about the Trump rally here. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Your boy Donnie needed a cold one after that night. Whether you're going through some tough stuff at work or you're having just a hell of a time out there, you need to unwind. Crack open a Miller Lite. It's the best way to do it. Whether times are happy, whether times are tough, whether you're with friends or with enemies, it doesn't matter. Miller Lite will always make a situation a little bit better, a little bit more fun. And that's why we drink it here. That's why you guys drink it at home. Whether we're doing Friday night pints and you're kicking off the weekend, whether it's a Tuesday episode of the podcast, you want to enjoy it with us and with friends, Miller Lite is the go-to beer. Miller Lite is the best for 5 reasons. 1, great taste. 2, less filling. 3, only 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. 4, only 96 calories per 12 ounces. 5, it's brewed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is the real deal. It's authentic. You don't want a beer that's brewed in, let's say, Miami, Florida. You want a beer that's brewed in Wisconsin. Good people, salt of the earth, who know how to make their beer, who know how to make it enjoyable. So get your Miller Lite now. You can get it delivered right to your door. You can drink it curbside at these restaurants that are opening up, outdoor seating. You pull down your mask, you take a sip, and life is good. Miller Lite, go get it. All right, the Trump rally was the perfect example, I think, of politics aside, it's just great theater. It's just the drama of it, the storylines swirling around it, the TikTok kids trolling them, the ramp, the water. It's, when you're plugged into politics and you're really concerned about the world, I probably should be as an adult, but I'm not. But when you are, this shit is all horrifying and none of it's funny. For me, I feel like I'm watching Monday Night Raw. I feel like I'm watching a wrestler in the ring who's hyping the crowd up and getting cheap heat and looking for a pop from the crowd. It's crazy how much it's become entertainment versus politics.
What crowd? That was the highlight.
No, you know what?
Crowd was the saddest thing. I've been in those shoes before. I've been a guy who's got to go on stage and there's no fucking crowd yet. What up, Barstool Blackout Tour?
The ending days of the Blackout Tour were sad scenes.
And the beginning days.
Yeah.
And it was I wasn't really around for the end of days, but I remember being dressed in a goddamn chicken outfit and I need to go on stage and dance for 100 people in a fucking place that's supposed to fit 2,000. And there is no worse feeling in the world than looking out and just seeing not empty seats, because although there are a lot of those, just empty floor space.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this sucks. I'm a loser. You start questioning everything you've ever done in your life. And that's when you're in a chicken outfit. I can't imagine when you're running for president and you're like, or running for re-election. I bet.
Don't you think if you told me that like 7,000 people showed up to a presidential rally, I think that would be like a normal number. It's just that those fucking idiots started hyping up over 1 million.
I don't think 6,000 is a lot for a presidential rally.
But like if you had like just like taped off the upper bowl and like everything else was, I don't know. I don't know enough about like do people like bang out arenas all the time for a rally? If that's the case, then yeah, like then you look stupid.
I also don't know, but the amount of floor space that was available was downright depressing. And like that's like just seeing that much pavement ever is not good. Like
they should have made sure if you can't fill the seats, you got to be like, you can't sit. You have to fill in the floor so that way you can at least frame the cameras and all that kind of shit.
Dude, I saw Fall Out Boy at the Ryan Center at URI on the tail end of Fall Out Boy, and they were like, everyone come on down to the floor. Someone should have said that. They should have had Pete Wentz on the mic before Trump got up there. They're like, everyone get down here.
Dude, that troll by the TikTok, by the youths is an all-timer. I mean, the story goes they all signed up and requested tickets. They didn't buy tickets, but I guess you can request them so that it's kind of like an RSVP list. They had over 1 million people expected. They had overflow seating outdoors. And I mean, the place it looked like Citi Field in September. Like, there's a handful of us here. That has got to be.
Wouldn't go out. I would not go
out. I read an article that said like behind the scenes, he was flipping out, like screaming at people, like how the fuck does this happen? And I read that Jared Kushner and someone else who like runs this shit, well, they weren't even there. They were like, they were nowhere to be found at this rally.
I would instead turn it into like a fucking meet and greet, because you can do a meet and greet with 6,000 people. I'd be like, everyone meet me out back where there are fucking cameras. I'll shake your hand. Fuck you. I'm not going on stage where like there's just fucking. And it's one thing too if it was like everyone was distant and that's the kind of deal it was, where it's like the social distancing rally and everyone's like spaced out apart and that kind of thing. This is one of those supposed to be like a fuck masks, fuck social distancing party.
Cram it in. Well, that's what the pictures from Biden's were, in like a local gym with the 6-foot circles and everyone was separate. That's slick, because I don't think Joe Biden's expecting like crowds to come. So then you got to be like, well, we're being safe here. That's why it's like a small crowd.
Yeah.
And whereas Trump went the opposite direction and still, because like, I mean, yeah, if you look at the pictures of Biden, it looks way sadder than even Trump's, but it was more about where the bar was set, according to Trump, where it was like, well, you fell way short of your expectations. If you book
looks like a Florida Panthers game.
and then I know that, like, I don't know how you combat this, and maybe it was more like CNN was doing this. I don't know what networks it was, but there was so many shots of the crowd with people like yawning and just kind of like looking off in the distance. Like, granted, I know that like a political speech is never going to be the most entertaining, but I do got to give Trump credit. That's where he when he took a sip of that water and then he's like, are you not entertained? And then he just throws the fucking glass on the floor. It's like, but the highlights of his political speech for me were the fucking sipping the water. And he did like 10 minutes on the fucking ramp. Be like, I ran down that ramp so fine. The last like 20 feet, I crushed it. Like, what?
I think that's the problem too, though, is that like the rallies used to be entertaining. And it was like, we're going to build a wall and we're going to get back to all the time. And now it's like, I can walk down ramps.
Right.
That's a pretty big difference between rallies.
The one of the Pod Save guys, I don't know if it was Tommy or John, had said, the first time around, whether we liked it or not, there was this message of like, I'm an outsider. I'm not a lifelong politician. I'm breaking the mold. I'm flipping the script. I'm changing the game. He's like, this time There's no message. It's just like, I can run down a ramp.
I can drink water and I can use ramps. Like,
and then I don't know if it was serious or not. We're living in a world right now where I feel like I'm pretty internet savvy, got a good sense of humor, good, sense of people. And now we're at a point where I can't tell what's real or what's fake anymore. There was that tweet floating around that night that said the Democrats said he couldn't drink water, and look at him. He drank that water. Greatest president ever. And I laughed. I was like, that's funny. And then I clicked on it. It was like, she's a Republican. She's conservative. She followed it up with more love for Trump. And I'm like, this is real? And then they do this thing that the right side does this thing where they pretend everything's a joke. Like Donald Trump saying, I told my people to stop testing for corona and the numbers will stop going up. And people are like, that was clearly a joke. Like, I don't think it fucking was. And I don't think that she was joking when she said he can drink water. Like he showed them.
It is pretty concerning where everything has to be explained when his platform, and the reason everyone liked him is a guy who says what he means. It's the most. He's the president with the most explanations following statements and actions. Everybody says what he means. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when you have to explain the joke, it's not a good one. Mm-hmm. When you have to issue a statement about all your statements, it ain't going well. Yeah, there was another one this weekend that put me in a pretzel from Sarah Parsak. She's like a historian. She's into space. Her handle's @Indy from Space. So she's into this alien world. And she said, I'd like to see one of the most racist shows on TV, Ancient Aliens, canceled permanently. It's an entire show that exists to discredit the extraordinary artistic and architectural accomplishments of past and current peoples. The time has come, #cancel Ancient Aliens. And so I quote tweeted it being like, this is such a privileged human thing to say. Just because we say, humans matter, all lives matter, that means extraterrestrials matter. I thought it was all a joke. And then she goes on could it be aliens? No, it fucking isn't. I'm blocking any racists who dare appear on my timeline. I'm using my platform to get them deplatformed. I should have pushed harder before. And I'm I'm pretty sure this is a joke. But there's enough people in there being like, are we being serious right now? That, I think we've just left the planet Earth here. I don't, pun intended. I don't know what's what anymore. I can't keep up.
I think that's crazy. I also don't disagree with it. How about that? I think it's very rude to give aliens credit for shit that we did.
Well, it's also, I don't know if it's a we thing. I think it's a slaves thing, which is even worse.
I meant Homo sapiens.
Yeah, right. But you know what I mean? It's even worse that it's no, it wasn't aliens. It was millions of people enslaved and forced to do labor. We should probably talk about the truth behind it because there's some issues to dive into there as well. But I mean, what do you think? Do you give aliens credit for any of that stuff, or you think it's all human?
I don't give aliens credit for shit. Fuck aliens.
What do you think Stonehenge is? That one always throws me for a loop.
Rocks?
Yeah, how do they? They're fucking immovable. They're so huge.
I've never seen Stonehenge. Well, I've seen pictures of it, obviously. I've never seen Stonehenge in person.
You know what it looks like. They said that there's
no. How big are they? I kind of just thought they were the size of 3 humans.
They're very big. They're very heavy, and the main thing is I think they're made of limestone or granite, whatever rock they're made of. There's none of that for miles and miles and miles away. So it's it just shouldn't that type of rock just shouldn't even be there. And then when you look at the way they're positioned and stationed and whatever, it's it just wouldn't really make any sense.
I've always heard it's a sundial, right?
Yeah, it's designed for the way the sun hits it and all that shit. But it is funny when it's the aliens must have made the pyramids, and then it was just no, there was just an assembly line of thousands of slaves. So right. There you go. So it could be the same thing with Stonehenge. So you don't think aliens? Is there anything on the planet alien that you think?
I think we have ships and stuff, but I don't think they made anything.
Okay. So all of those things are just they're just monuments. They're just things built by people.
Yeah, I think it's just coincidence. It's I guess it's I don't even.
It's like religion. It's like when you can't explain things, you're just like, I don't know, God did it. Like,
right.
Like when they, it was the great flood from God. It was like, nah, y'all just experienced your first tsunami. Like when your brain can't wrap your mind around these things, it's like, yeah, we'll just come up with a loophole. But
I mean,
yeah,
it is. What is it? Occam's razor, where it's just like the simplest explanation or the easiest explanation, and it's just like aliens. That's easy. We'll just stop it from you saying. It's like I think there was a comedian who had something about how like conspiracy theories are just male versions of astrology signs, where it's like, oh, that's because this is happening because like Mercury's in retrograde. Like, actually, this is happening because the Illuminati is a deep state. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, it's just happening because it's happening. I don't know. I'm a simple-minded man. I'm just like, yeah, it's just a coincidence.
Did you see? So I did a podcast on Mail Time, and I listened to Wind of Change. Have you heard about that one? It's like a new. It's like kind of like a new like Serial in the sense that it's like an 8-part documentary podcast. It's not nearly as big as Serial because like nothing else is, but it's there was a song in the '80s called Wind of Change, written by the Scorpions, the same guys who sing Rock You Like a Hurricane, that song. Wind of Change, it's not like as big in America, but overseas, it's like one of the biggest rock ballads ever. And the conspiracy theory is that the CIA wrote it for them and gave it to them because they were a German band who sung English. And they were kind of like the perfect blend. And it's all about wind of change and like basically like, culture moving and changing in the right direction. And the thought is that the CIA made it for them to help fight communism during the fall of the Berlin Wall. And like, it's a whole like 8-part series that it's actually really cool when you learn about like what the CIA does. It's kind of still unconfirmed whether or not the CIA wrote this, but like, did you know that the CIA really uses Mission Impossible masks?
What?
Like the latex, like rip it off. Like that's a real thing to the point that there was a woman. So without trying to redo the whole podcast I did on Mail Time, Tony Mendez, the dude from Argo, Ben Affleck's character in Argo, his wife was also in the CIA, and she did these masks and was in the room with George Bush 1 and was like explaining to him what the CIA is doing with masks. And like he had no idea. And at the end, she like ripped it off and was like, it's me. And like crazy shit like that. Did you know that the Soviets once lost a nuclear sub? It sunk to the bottom of the ocean. The government went and got Howard Hughes and they like commissioned him to make this monster fucking submarine called the Gomar. And they said, tell people that you're like exploring the ocean for precious minerals. And he went down there and they used like a crane, like a claw game, and they fucking stole a Soviet submarine. Like, and Argo like became a movie. Like there is some shit going on,
dude. Like that's like the when what was it, Nicaragua, when the government buying coke to give money to like the rebel forces.
Yes.
Which then led to the crack epidemic in inner cities. And who was the reporter? Gary Webb, like uncovered it all. And he was then like, he was fired by his newspaper. And then
he got like blackballed and shit, right?
Blackballed.
Yeah.
Family left him and he killed himself.
Right.
And it was like, that's all pretty heavily outside forces kind of pushing that in.
Yeah.
Was like, but what's the tweet where it's like, hey, remember the Panama Papers when we found out that every rich person in the world is involved in a global scheme to hide their money and hide their wealth, and nothing happened after that?
Right.
And
yeah. I mean, I vaguely remember that. I don't even know the details of that. It's like
someone replied, that's not true. Nothing didn't happen. The reporter who uncovered it all was murdered.
Shouldn't laugh, but yeah, I mean, the Clintons are murdering people. Epstein was real. Like as time goes on, I start to believe conspiracy theories more than, you would think as you get older and smarter and learn, you realize those things are silly. It's kind of the opposite direction. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
But it's also like looking at a tsunami. We were like, that's happening. And there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, so why even? I'm not even going to get upset about it. The Tony Mendez's wife on that podcast said that they declassified Argo because they were like, we need a win. We need like people to know. Like usually conspiracy theories are all like awful, right? This was like we do these crazy cool things where we like get like submersed into culture and we're doing it like for good. And that was the whole idea behind Wind of Change. Is like, you know, it's not just like conspiracy theories like we murdered this guy. It's conspiracy theories like we wrote this song that encouraged people to like, you know, chase freedom. And it's a good one. It's cool. But
you want to talk about conspiracy theories? Have you heard of randonauting?
Randonauting, like random astronauts?
It's no.
That was what my brain went to. Randonauts. Randonauts is brought to you by Tej Hanley. I got it right here. I keep it right on my desk because I just consistently pop this open and put on the eye cream. It says AM and PM. Well, guess what? At any given point, it's always AM or PM. So I would pop it on my eyes, try to get rid of those dad bags. Happy Father's Day to me. Here's what you get for Father's Day. A book, and your face looks like shit from becoming a dad. Woo! And that's where Tej Hanley comes in with. They got creams, they've got serums, they've got washes and lotions, and it's all facial skincare for men to help you look your best, help you stay looking young. I put out it was our anniversary, by the way, John. Happy anniversary! 8 years of KFC radio last week, and I posted that.
I didn't know, because tell you what, no one loves an anniversary like people at Barstool Sports.
We do 6 months, 6 weeks, 2 days.
I've been here for a year. I don't know how fucking long I've been here.
Honestly, there was a couple recently.
8 years of this show?
What's that?
It's been 8 years of this show?
Yep.
So does that mean I've been here for like 11 years? Because we definitely didn't start this we didn't start this until Dan came.
I've been here
like 3 years.
We started. I started in 12. I think Dan was here in 13. So no, but I only did like 20 episodes before you came on, and then we probably did maybe like a handful more before Dan came on. So yeah, it was June of 12, and then I think Dan was here like early 13. But yeah, you've been here for 10 years. I've been here for 11. Crazy. And then you got people out here who are like, you know, like editing like social media clips being like, it's my 2 year. Shut the fuck up. I think your 5-year anniversary is like wood. And like, there's a reason why. It's like 5 years is not a lot. So you get like a piece of wood. Anything under 5, like we ain't doing it. All right. But yeah, so we posted the, remember when Hank made that like documentary for us leading up to Couch by Couch West, which like we didn't realize at the time it was the end of KFC radio with Dan. And we didn't really, like, I fully intended on continuing to do it with Dan. And then I learned like that weekend how much PMT was going to take up his time. And I was like, well, we're here doing the show, so let's just make it like the finale for us. And so we had this cool documentary that Hank made and kind of tied it all nicely together. But there's, you know, footage of us from 8 years ago and even just like 4 years ago or whatever the date was when we were doing Couch by Couch West. And people were like, boy, you guys have aged not so great. I disagree, by the way. I think we might look older, but I know I look better than I did. Maybe I look older, but I definitely look better than I was.
I have some facial hair now to hide my fat. So
yeah, that's clutch. That's something every guy learns like around 30, that it's like, well, I can just cover this up with something naturally, but you don't have to cover it up when you got Tej Hanley. We've got all the skincare you need. It's all sleek. It's not like you're wearing makeup. It comes with this free DOP kit, as Bougie Feidelberg would say, where it got a hook you can hang it on. So if you want your face to look a little bit better, then you got to go get Tej Hanley. Let me find the deal for you real quick. When you go to Tej Hanley, it's go to Tej.com, TIEGE.com/KFC, and you'll get the free bag. And you can get started for just $25. No extra cost for shipping. You cut out the middleman, get it delivered directly to you with the free cool bag. That's Tej, TIEGE.com/KFC. Tell me about these Randonauts.
All right. So it's basically like you go, okay, I'm just going to read you the opening paragraph of what it is. You may not have heard about Randonauts before. Randonauts are a community of people who are exploring the use of random number generators to find blind spots and experiment with mind-matter interaction.
Wait, hang on. Back it up real quick. Random numbers to find blind spots? What, like blind spots in what? Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not super well versed. It's like it's nonsense, really. It's like you find voids and anomalies in the world around you, and then it's an app that sends you there.
Bro, as a dude who's on season 3 of Lost, I'm in. I mean, this is Lost. It sounds like 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
It's a person who explores both the application and impact of randomness in the experience of everyday reality. This exploration into randomness can be carried out in several different ways. There are 2 primary experiments with Randonauts that are currently exploring blind spots and mind-matter interactions. Below are short examples of each. Blind spots. A blind spot is a place in the real world that you would never normally encounter through any chain of usual experience. We as humans tend to live structured, patterned lives. Our everyday experience throughout the social and geographical world is guided by our internal mental makeup, which may contain some shared of determinism. When navigating the world, there is determinism, can't get that one, in your actions, making it hard to break out of your usual patterns. Using the Factum bot, Randonauts can generate a random coordinate location in an attempt to find blind spots and uncover what lies outside the boundaries of everyday casual experience. The reason I bring this all up is TikTokers used it to find a dead body. And now the conspiracy, I guess, is that this is all a ploy to really find just murdered bodies. They found a dead body in a suitcase and called the police, and the police came. Like this is very real. Like the New York Daily News is reporting on it. It's very real. They found the body. Not that it's very.
So what are the numbers? They're like coordinates. They're like like longitude, latitude, like that sort of shit.
No. I don't know.
This is like when they talk about mining Bitcoins, I'm like, I can repeat it to you, but I don't really know what that means.
Right.
Dude, but this really feels like Lost. It's like they found the island using fucking numbers and shit. Wow.
I was like looking at it. I was looking at so it's not all evil. Lou was texting me about it and that it's the scariest thing he's ever seen. So he texted me this morning. So then I was doing some research and a lot of it scared.
If Lou's scared, it's fucking crazy.
He said he won't even download the app because but I was looking at the Reddit of it, and like a lot of it is kind of just silly stuff. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to meditate. You open the app and you meditate, and you decide what kind of experience you want, be it like fun, goofy, scary, whatever. And like there was one group of people who said that they had meditated on a spot that would initiate their fight or flight response. And one guy meditated this field, and that's exactly where it took them. And they found crop circles in the field, and then they found this white burning light that they couldn't, and it sounded like pigs squealing, and they couldn't look directly at it. So they were like squinting their eyes trying to see it, and then the white light just rushed at them, and they freaked out and ran and peeled out and yada yada. Now there have been other people who like wanted to get over a breakup, and it took this girl to a spot where it was a dumpster over the address 3. And it was like 3 was her boyfriend's number. She sounded like she was a high school girl. And like 3 was her boyfriend's number, and it's dumpster. She's like, okay, the world tells me that he's a piece of shit.
Trash. Yeah, men are trash. This is the most elaborate men are trash ever.
Yeah, and then there was another one, like a girl meditated on her dad, and then it took her to his grave, and there was a coyote sitting on it, and her dad's nickname was Dog. And it was like all this, like, I don't know, it's all this supposed to be random stuff.
Yeah. But when you say, so they meditated and then something turns out these numbers, like an app or whatever?
It turned out like a destination to go to that, which that makes sense. That's kind of cool because it's like, yeah, I very much am a creature of habit. I would not go outside of anywhere unless I was told to. And this town, like, go explore this.
I mean, this feels a little bit like a Ouija board, though, in the sense of like
1,000%.
You give me some numbers, and I interpret it to be cross streets or an address or whatever. I show up, and it's a brick house, and I'm like, well, it's sturdy. So this is made of brick. So this means like I have a foundation. Like you can make it fit no matter what. But honestly, sometimes. Like, I think those things are scams, but also it's like people need like a placebo effect in their head to move on or to say yes or say no or whatever. And if all you're doing is like presenting them with some shit for them to like give themselves that confirmation or whatever, then it's effective. It's like a scam, but it can be like a productive scam.
Yeah, I honestly
it's a scam.
I haven't found out what's so scary about it yet. There obviously the TikToker thing. People say it's a human trafficking ring. Yeah. I don't understand how that is. Look what I'm doing with my hands. Coffee is the worst. Why do people drink coffee? I've investigated for like an hour or two this morning, and I haven't found clear-cut evidence about why it would be human trafficking or a murder ring. Mm-hmm. But the thing that made it take off was the TikTokers. I guess TikTokers were like looking for death or whatever, and it took them to
the world, bro.
And it took them to this suitcase with just. They said they opened it and the smell was overwhelming, and it was just a bag. And then
honestly, as I'm like talking through this whole thing, I mean, this sounds like a TikTok like hoax for like TikTok views, right?
But it's been around that. But I mean, the police did come, and like there was a dead body. So like,
okay, we really that's confirmed 100%. There was a dead body. That changes things
according to a New York Daily News article.
But that might be where people are saying it's human trafficking. If it was like, you know, like a small, like on the border of like fucking Mexico or some shit, and it looks like it was trafficking.
Nick, why'd you say serial killer make the app? Is that what happened?
No, I'm saying like what, like we're going back to conspiracy theories. What if just a serial killer made this app?
It was made by an Australian. It's been around. Randonauts been around for a long time. It's not.
Dude, Australia is. That's one of those spots, at least in every TV show, from Lost to The Leftovers, that Australia has like some geological like vibes going on down there where, you know, it's like a special spot on the planet Earth. That Outback there's some shit going on in the Outback, no doubt.
Yeah.
I like this one, man. This is like, I mean, I just did an episode on the Fenn's treasure, like the treasure hunt. This is just like a digital numerological treasure hunt, really. And you might find a fucking dead body. You might find, you know, the cure for your breakup, but you're going to find something. We got to dig deeper into this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lou has me terrified. He's so good at getting me so scared. And then, I'm like, do you have any other articles? He's like, no, I just wanted to terrify you. I'm like, well, what can I do with this information?
I'm just going to drop a stick of dynamite right here and let it be. As I hear, so like I'm thinking about what I learned at Wind to Change. Hear about Randonauts. I'm starting to believe in conspiracy theories more and more. And like, you tell me, explain to me how there's not, if conspiracy theories are not true, when all signs are pointing to Dave Portnoy buying the Mets. I mean, you can't tell me that this world is not like predetermined and there's not someone pulling strings if Dave fucking Portnoy is going to be an owner of the Mets.
I mean, you know, like I saw your tweet earlier, but you know it's gone further than that, right?
Yeah, I just saw Dave's tweet saying, so for those who don't know, Mike Rapoli, owner of Body Armor, Barstool sponsor, billionaire, all around.
He owns horses with Dave, right?
Yep. All around, like
together, which is crazy thing to say. But
I mean, Rapoli is like awesome because like we did an ad read for Body Armor the other day where we just like kept interrupting Dave and like fucking around during the ad read. And we were saying how sales was going to be like, all right, we need to do a make good. And that Rapoli was going to be like, that was fucking awesome. That was the best ad read of the year. So he gets it. He knows our vibe. He's a billionaire. He has now joined up with the A-Rod and J-Lo conglomerate, which you also can't tell me. I don't know if those guys had a relationship ahead of time, but I feel like that's a Barstool thing as well. Like the Corp and Dan and A-Rod and Rapoli, and there's an introduction. Those guys are chatting. Rapoli wants to join that conglomerate, which is going to buy the Mets. And then Dave tweets, an anonymous source has asked me if I'd like to be involved with an anonymous professional sports team if they anonymously buy the franchise. I wouldn't have to relocate. Need to consider. I mean, Dave's going to buy the Mets.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to buy the Mets. Like, I'm still holding out hope. I love Steve Cohen. I feel like having a single owner who's the richest man in the world, basically, and the richest man in the league is better. But short of that, Rapoli is that dude. And I also feel like for once, the deal with the devil would be aligning with my interests. Like I've always hated everything that Dave does, other than like own Barstool and be in the same business, which admittedly is a big one. But everything else, I'm like, I don't care about your teams. I don't care about your likes and like interests. So you're gonna keep doing all these things. Like I don't want to buy a horse. So I don't want to be in that world. I don't want to do anything Dave does, except for the Mets.
Well, do you think he would torture you with it?
I feel like how? Like if he were going to like torpedo the team, then yeah. But I mean, his financial interests and his like ego of being a sports owner, he's not going to be thinking about me. He doesn't give a fuck about me. You know what I mean? I'm nothing compared to that. So like he's going to do a good job. And it actually, what I'll do is I'll torture him. You know, if he's making like good moves for the Mets, I'd be like, Davey's fucking like working for me. Like Davey's fucking making me happy all of a sudden. But I mean, right? There's no way, like, how could he torture me other than just being like, you're a fan of me? I'd be like, whatever. I don't care, dude. You know?
Right. Yeah. No, there's like, yeah, unless he willingly is awful, which Dave wouldn't do because his ego's too big for that.
Right.
I think if you were going to have an owner in the world, like Dave Portnoy is a good one to have. He wants to win. He's like Steinbrenner-esque. We always say you need a guy who like doesn't like worry about the business and just wants to win. I mean, you know how much, you know, he's got a lot of money, but it's pennies when we're talking about owning teams. So, but I think Rapoli's smart enough that he would be like, you know, you own like 0.5%, but we're gonna make you like the face of like the. What? Jay-Z, you'll be like the Jay-Z. Jay-Z like barely owned the Brooklyn Nets. Right. But everyone thought Jay-Z owned 100% of the Nets. And I feel like Dave, A-Rod, and J-Lo, that's a fucking monster squad.
And I know people would probably think, like, they probably would torture me in the sense of, like, Dave is now the Mets and all that shit. But I am A-okay with all that. It's not like I had dreams of, like, owning and being involved with the Mets. I just had dreams of them fucking winning. Right. So if Dave wants to be, like, at the press conferences and all that shit, like, go ahead, as long as you're also at the parade, brother. That's all that matters to me. But, I mean, you can't tell me that this is all just random. You can't tell me that the world just, like, unfolds and, like, that's it. It's I feel like we're living in Westworld. This is, like, I don't even know. Are you guys real? You guys, I feel like it's Truman Show. I feel like it's Westworld. I feel like this is all a setup for you're all watching me from home. And it's like, well, what else can we fuck with this guy? How about his boss now owns his favorite team? Like, sure, why not? Season 35 of the KFC show where his fucking team is owned by his enemy boss. Why fucking not? So we'll keep tabs on that. By the way, if they're like going as far as saying like gauging interest there, I feel like overall there's a lot of truth to them buying it in general. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like a lot of these names are floated out there and it's not really serious, but if you're going as far to talk to Dave Portnoy about it, they've got to be heavy in the mix. But
yeah,
you're
asking someone who you're like, it's not a secret. You're asking someone who you know is going to talk about
want to talk about it, which also maybe he's, you know, being used in that regard for something, but also it leads me to believe that they're going down this road. I also just don't know though. God bless them. I feel like I have way more ties to that crew, even as you know, fringe as I might be, than I do Steve Cohen. But God bless anybody who tries to get in a bidding war with Steve Cohen. If he's like still in the mix, and you know what? The fucking Wilpons are going to end up making out. The Mets are going to sell for like $7 billion because Rapoli and fucking Steve Cohen are out there measuring each other's dicks. As long as it's anybody else, I've always said that, but it's like I put my money where my mouth is. If it's Dave Portnoy, fine. As long as it's not Jeff Wilpon, that's all that matters. Although, wait a minute, now I'm thinking Dave is such a fucking Wilpon dick rider that's how Dave would torture me. He'd like sit in a conference room and be like, "Why don't we keep Jeff on, guys? I think Jeff's a good guy. Why don't we still let him be in the mix?"
Dave likes to bust your balls about that, but I think Dave knows.
He knows, that would actually see. This is where I think I end up being able to torture him, because if Dave has to finally admit, like, "Oh yeah, no, that guy's a fucking idiot. We're not going to deal with him." Like, yes, see, you fucking morons who thought he believed it all this time. Like vindication for your boy. But yeah, it's I feel like you're all just Westworld hosts, which is why we're now going to get into our HBO bracket and our top fives for today. Rotten Tomatoes put together a bracket, a tournament for best HBO show of all time. And it was left up to voting. And surprise, surprise, the democratic process doesn't fucking work. Look no further than the White House. Look no further than this dumb tournament on Twitter. So we're going to break down our top 5 HBO shows and run through this bracket. It's brought to you by Simply Safe. The safest and easiest way to keep your home and your loved ones happy is Simply Safe. You don't have to sign up for years on end. You don't have to have a technician come to your house and install all the equipment. You don't have to break the bank trying to keep everything safe. Simply Safe makes it all easy, convenient, affordable, done. You can do it by yourself in the house. And it keeps you safe from burglaries, floods, fires, any other sort of traumatic experiences that your family and your house can experience. Simply Safe has got you covered. You can cancel anytime. It comes with a set of, it's got like the doorbell camera. It's got like the motion sensor type stuff. It's got a whole easy system that protects you from anything that you have to worry about for your belongings and your loved ones. You go to simplysafe.com, SIMPLI, safe.com/KFC radio, and you'll get free shipping on the whole kit, plus a 60-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it or you don't feel safe for some reason. But you're gonna, because it's ranked the best overall home security of 2020. No fees, no contracts, and no technicians. You can do it all yourself with just a little bit of money per month. Simplysafe.com/KFC radio. All right, so let's get into it. The Rotten Tomatoes bracket of best HBO series. So, I mean, I guess I'll cut right to the chase for the end here. The final 4 was The Wire, Game of Thrones, Westworld, and Chernobyl, which I think Westworld is bad.
I enjoy. I don't like Westworld. Fuck off, Westworld. But I like Westworld. Should have lost literally every step of the way. Nah, maybe not literally.
Who do they face? I'm trying to enhance. All right, so Westworld beats Deadwood in the first round. Nope. Nope. No. Deadwood didn't have like the grand finale it deserved, but I mean, the early seasons of Deadwood is some of the best TV, period. Then it faces
the Good Pope. The Good Pope is, I guess,
Young
whatever.
Pope. Young Pope, I don't even know. So I would probably put Westworld. I did watch Westworld at one point. I do like the idea of it. I don't know anything about the Young Pope. I think it's just like the Pope is fucking and he's like a bad guy, right?
Smokes.
Yeah. But all right, I would have done it there. And in the bottom half of the bracket, Veep. I mean, Veep should have easily. It should have been Veep versus Curb to come out of that bracket. And to be honest, I think most people would pick Curb there. I'm more of a Veep guy, but I'd be okay with either of it. But the rest of that bracket, extras, Getting On. I don't even know what Years and Years is. I mean that. They probably should have just made this tournament smaller, to be honest. There's some names here. I don't know, like any. I don't know. Tracy Altman. I don't know that. Black Lady Sketch. There's some names here that I really don't know. But whatever. That doesn't mean they're bad. I'm just saying that it's not like all of these shows are like classic. So Westworld made it to the finals.
It's the final is Thrones versus Westworld. It's a bad list. And again, it's no fault of Rotten Tomatoes. I'm a fan of Rotten Tomatoes.
It's recency bias is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like Westworld is happening, right? I mean, Westworld, it's crazy. This is like when a team like floods the all-star balloting and like some dude who sucks makes the team. Like, I don't know. Westworld stands must be out here.
Even fans of Westworld, I think, agree that seasons 2 and 3 stunk.
And by the way, it's only 2 seasons. It's not like, like Game of Thrones ended poorly, but it gave us, several years of almost like a decade of good entertainment. So I can get it. To be like defiantly into Westworld when the jury is still very fucking much out. And basically,
I don't think the jury's out. I think it had one good season where it was like, whoa, this is wild. And then after that, I think it was a bad show.
Right. So I'm looking here. The top half of the bracket is The Wire beats Band of Brothers, which beat Barry.
That's a monster top half.
In the wake of The Wire is Band of Brothers, Barry, Eastbound and Down, and Girls is another big one that's in there. And then, a bunch of other shows that Sharp Objects. Did you ever watch Sharp Objects?
No, I don't think
it is the worst. It was the redhead, Amy Adams.
Oh, yeah.
It was some book adaptation that people love the book. And I remember it came on the heels of when one of your favorite shows, I think it was Game of Thrones. I think it was like the Game of Thrones finale hit. And then the new Sunday night, 9 p.m. show to fill its slot is Sharp Objects. And you're like, oh, this must be good. And it fills my same time slot. Here we go. And I mean, it was like the worst show I've ever watched in my life. It was, I definitely didn't finish it because I remember being like, this is absolutely atrocious. That beat, Big Little Lies beat that. I like Big Little Lies. I got a kick out of that one. Barry, I think is awesome. When does Barry come back? I can't wait.
I would imagine not for a while. I would think if I had to guess that they were in filming during COVID. And
so they got a while.
That's a complete guess, but
I've seen Band of Brothers here and there. I never sat down and committed to the series. I mean, it's one of those. It's like Saving Private Ryan in TV form. People are gonna love it. So this is the thing about HBO is you got everything ranging from like a silly 30-minute comedy with Kenny Powers, ranging to basically almost a World War II documentary in TV form. But obviously, I'm surprised The Wire didn't. The Wire losing to Westworld is insane to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
That's just got to be a time thing, right?
I think it's just I don't know. Maybe Westworld fans are huge followers of Rotten Tomatoes. There's no reason why The Wire should have lost. And I don't even The Wire's not going to be on my top 5 list because I've never seen it. I tried to watch it 3 times. I'm sure sometime in the future I will try again. It has not hit with me. Right. I apologize. I'm sorry. I haven't gotten through what I was supposed to get through.
I'm sick of apologizing for it. It's just there's enough of us. We are legion. There's enough people who are I don't quite see it the same way you do as this masterpiece work of art. You know what's funny about The Wire? The individual clips I've seen, the clip of Omar walking through the streets and the people scatter. I'm that was fucking awesome. And the clip recently after the Call Her Daddy drama happened, Trent blogged Stringer Bell and Barksdale on the roof talking to each other. And without even knowing the dynamic of the show, you can tell it's 2 dudes who came up together who now are not aligned anymore. And they know it's going to run its course. And I was that was an awesome scene. I get it. Even having limited knowledge, that was really well done. But you put it all together and I'm not captivated hour per hour, episode per episode. And I just can't do it anymore. It's I also feel shame, the same thing with The Godfather. I don't care that I don't like The Godfather anymore. And you can't convince me of otherwise. I think I'm finally gotten there with The Wire. I'm just sorry, I don't like it. The other side of things, Watchmen was in the Elite 8 and got beat by Game of Thrones. I think if Watchmen had more seasons behind it, I think Watchmen has a chance to take this whole thing down. I think Watchmen has a chance to be the best HBO show ever if they have enough.
It's not going to be though.
Yeah, I was going to say if they could keep it going and they had enough material, it would be. I mean that was an awesome season of.
Did
TV.
you watch the whole season?
Yeah,
I didn't. I enjoyed what I watched, but I didn't see the whole season.
I think you have to watch. Did you watch the movie?
No. Yes, but in theaters.
Okay, so there's a fifth. I'll have the KFC Radio Twitter tweet this out if you're into Watchmen. You want to watch Watchmen? There's a 15 to 20 minute YouTube that does a recap of the graphic novels, which is basically the movie as well. And you need that. I remember thinking, boy, if I didn't watch this, I would be out on this show because I wouldn't know what's going on. But when you do watch that and you know what's up, it helps tremendously. And then on the bottom half, Chernobyl beat True Detective and Silicon Valley and Ali G show. But I love Chernobyl. I think there's a difference though in I guess True Detective is fine because it's in my mind basically one season. So it's 1 season of Chernobyl versus 1 season of True Detective. But I feel Chernobyl was almost half TV show, half documentary in the sense that it really was just a historical event, whereas True Detective was a completely like, fictional creative work of art basically. But all right, so that's like where the bracket's at with the voters. We're going to do our top fives. Start us off.
I definitely started last time because last time I thought like I'm starting a lot. So I'm going to give it to you.
Okay. All right. In that sense, I am going to go. It's tough because I'm going to be true to oh man. God, the ending of Game of Thrones fucked everything up. It really, really did. But if we're talking about like viewing HBO, oh man, I can't. No, can you go first? Can you go first? This is the one time I don't want the number one pick. Like when I think of watching an HBO show, there was never a better run and more episodes that I was gassed up for and into than Game of Thrones. And while it ended badly, almost every show ends badly. So I'm not going to hold it against it. Because a lot of the shows it's up against just haven't had they haven't had to go through that yet. You know what I mean? Like maybe these other shows are going to have a fucking horrible ending too. So I will go with Thrones just for those episodes here and there. The Winds of Castamere and the Red Wedding and the Sept blowing up. And all the greatness that
Blackwater Bay is my favorite episode.
Blackwater Bay, all that shit. I mean, I can't think of. There's not many episodes. Not many other TV shows where I can pick out like that premiere, that finale, that episode, that moment. So I will begrudgingly, but I will take Game of Thrones.
All right, that's a pretty good one. It's like all the points are fair. It's the show. We talk about it a lot, but God, they ruined and lost so much money. So much money with that. I'm going to go with number one, The Sopranos. I have been watching The Sopranos. It is one I've quietly done it during quarantine.
Wow.
I'm on season 4. It is the exact opposite of The Wire for me because like The Sopranos is a tough one to start because it was like I've just seen so much fucking Italian stuff. I get it. The Italian.
I know but you're saying it's different.
I just like it still fucking hits. Like I was in 20 minutes in episode 1. I was like, yep, this is awesome.
All right. Well, that's good for me to know because I went back and I've seen that first episode and it didn't grip me like that. So I feel like I might I don't know whether it's because I don't like Italian people. I don't know whether it's because I get it. It's the mob. And I know this, it had a twist of like the therapist and all that shit, but I don't quite find it to be like revolutionary, but at the same time, I do acknowledge there's a difference between, I think people usually get mad at me. It's like, I'm not saying it's a bad show. I know it's well done. I know it's well acted. It's not for me. So in that case, why are you yelling at me? It's just like, I'm telling you, I don't like, this color. I don't like this flavor. It just is what it is,
What was I going to say? The night we started it, I was very tired. So I probably did like 2 episodes and then kind of rolled over in bed and kind of went to sleep. My girlfriend watched 4 more and then lied about it in the morning and was like,
them?
Yeah, she went so far as to go back on the HBO Go. So like if I hit play, we would have been on episode 2.
Wow. What a woman. What a woman.
But like she was right. She'd never seen it either. And she was also like, yeah, this is awesome.
If I was like sitting there third wheeling it with you guys, I would probably watch it and get into it and have a discussion and all that. To me, like my favorite TV shows are the ones that I can have the discussion about and theories and all that shit. Me just like sitting here by myself watching, it's probably not going to hit for me,
Yeah, but it's one, like I'm not having much discussion about it. And it's still one where I'm like, I can't wait to get to bed tonight so I can watch Thrones.
And how many seasons? Like 6?
I want to say 6. I don't know for sure, but I want to say 6.
All right. I will go for my second pick. I will bounce over to comedy and I'll take Curb.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I was basically going to be, actually you kind of made it easier for me because I was going to decide, well, you know what? I'm actually going to throw a curveball here. Nah, never mind. Not going.
You were just the kombucha girl.
Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna stick with gas. I'm going Veep. It was one or the other. I was gonna have a hard pick between Veep and Curb.
Well, let me tell you something. If I'm picking what I watched the most, like I didn't pick up Curb till later because I think Curb's pretty old, and I remember thinking, I don't even think I had HBO at one point or something like that was the problem. And I remember thinking, like, I've already seen this with Costanza and Seinfeld. So it took me a little while to hop on Curb. Also, Curb experiencing kind of the Game of Thrones effect. Like, I feel like they should have probably let it be. I think.
Yeah. I don't even think I finished this
season. Episodes this season, but for the most part, it was like, it's just too much Curb. It's Curb overload with like the amount.
No, I did finish this season, but yeah, you're 100% right.
Whereas Veep, I think I was on Veep from episode 1, and I think it's fucking brilliant. But I think in my mind, I'm picking like Larry David. It's like like this is a lifetime achievement award for Larry David, Costanza, Seinfeld, the whole 9. So if you're asking me which show I would prefer to watch, it might actually be Veep. But with the draft pick, I'm taking Larry. So you're going Veep. I will go. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything here.
Oh, fuck. I actually fucked something up, but okay.
I will go True Detective season 1.
Motherfucker, that's what I was going to take. You keep taking what I was going to take.
You should have gone first, John. You deferred on the pick, and now I'm fucking you. True Detective season 1. Also, yet again, a show that I did not like the ending. I don't think True Detective season 1 finale is regarded as like a Lost or a Throne situation. Public, like generally, for me, it is. I hate the ending of True Detective. As a matter of fact, I think it might be worse than all of those. When Rust Cole decides to become Mr. fucking Positivity, looking up to the sky, maybe it ain't so bad. Like, we just watched you be this like Nietzsche nihilistic fucking asshole, and all of a sudden, I get it. You went through like a dark, experience, but I hated that ending. But the build up to that, the multiple timelines, the Yellow King is one of the best. That perfect example of when you show the monster and it kind of like lackluster, but the idea of the Yellow King, the theories that spawned from it, the fact that just Woody and McConaughey. I mean, I think we had already kind of been going down that road, but I feel like those guys really hammered home the like movie stars can now be TV stars, and it's fucking a big deal.
I remember the first time I saw a commercial for True Detective, I was like, wait, why are both of these guys in a TV?
Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. Were there other examples of like big TV stars?
I would definitely give them the crown for it.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. But
right.
The one where it really stuck out at me, I was like, Matthew McConaughey's doing a TV show. This is
and it was like, he had done Dallas Buyers Club. Now he's doing this, and he's changing his whole persona. Woody Harrelson being like the perfect co-star. So season 2 stinks. Season 3 was all right, but I'm picking specifically season 1, the first like 9 episodes with this pick.
All right, I will take Chernobyl. I meant to take Chernobyl too. I've gone back and watched Chernobyl like 3 or 4 times. I think it's one of the best shows ever. I think it's not really fair to have a limited series. I get that, but it is fucking so good. The writing, the score, the message behind it all is so timely. Like,
and it's fucking real. I mean, the fact that it's, we're just like, it actually happened. When a show can be that dramatic and good, and you're like, and now imagine if you lived it, it's like, holy shit, man. I thought that was incredible.
It was probably one of the most timely shows of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just talking about like what the government's telling you, this is the truth and that kind of shit. And you're like, no, it's not. Like, it's like some like 1984 shit.
Those moments, when I think of like Lost and they go back to the island, I'm like, oh, like the things that make me like gasp. But in Chernobyl, when they explain how they were misreading the Rontgen just because they had like the gun that didn't go high enough, I was like, oh my God, like what a catastrophe.
The horror scenes in it, it's a real life movie that's somehow a horror movie where like the horror when the 3 guys go in the scuba gear. And then they're like, it's just, you can hear like the Rontgen machine clicking a lot as the lights go out and as their flashlights go out. And then the one when they're on the roof and they got to scoop up the lead or iron or whatever it is. Yeah. And like everyone has 3 minutes and it's all in the one shot where it's like the
running in and out.
And the fucking.
You know what my favorite was? As hopeless as it was, the main dude and the other guy from like the Russian government He's that actor you've seen a million times before. He's the Robin Williams is like enemy in Good Will
Hunting. Skarsgård. He's Skarsgård's dad.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. Huh. Okay, so yeah, that dude. When they both have a scene where they're kind of like resigned to the fact that they're fucked, like they know they've been exposed like so much and that it's over for them.
Yeah.
And the way it starts, like with the tapes and the hanging, it's amazing.
There's so many great scenes when they're like, just so many. Oh God, it's so good when they're like, he's like, if you fly, and he's like yelling at him, he's like, fly the plane over that. He's like, if you fly the helicopter over that, we will die today. He's like, we are already dying, we're dead, but we will die today if you fly over that. And when they find.
I think some people might have been turned off by the fact that it was real life and that they think they're watching like a fucking history lesson or something. But if you haven't given Chernobyl a shot, fucking go do it. It is as tense and like scary, but it is so good. This is my fourth pick. Fourth pick. By the way, is this like, are we missing anything on this bracket? Like, are there ones that didn't even make the cut? Probably not.
I don't know, because I was going to say what this bracket reveals the most to me is HBO's not as good as you thought it was.
I know. There's only like 5 shows that are good.
And granted, that comes with the fact that we haven't seen a lot of them. I admit I haven't seen 6 Feet Under and Oz and that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're being a little ignorant here. But, man, I have 3 shows left with 2 picks. And I don't know what. I have 4 shows left. All right, maybe it's better than we thought. I have 5 shows left. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to think of what you're gonna go with too, to see if I can get one still on the board. I know 2 of them you're not gonna touch. The other 2 are gonna be a problem. I'm going to go with recency bias, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to go with Succession.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Were you not going to pick that? Because I thought that was one that I might have to worry about with you.
No, I wasn't. Because I haven't seen season 2. I really like season 1. I like season 2, I forget, was airing during something else. And I haven't given season 2.
This is going to be my this is like a potential pick. I think right now I might have left some on the table. Maybe some people aren't going to like that pick. Let's revisit this in like 4 years when there's like 2 more seasons. And this is one of like the HBO greats because I think it's got all the makings of it. Unbelievable cast. Everybody says this about Succession, but I think it's true. And I don't think there's another show that compares to it. I think you disagree with me on this, but I've never seen a show that I don't like anybody. And I think all the characters are assholes. Yet I still.
I think I have a lot of shows like that. I used to always say that about Lost. Lost was my first. I've only had shows like that.
Yeah. Lost is you're learning. I'm rewatching it. I'm learning like, man, John Locke, you're wrong all the time. And like, dude, Kate, you're kind of a bad person and like all that shit. But yeah, Succession I think is hot in the streets right now. But I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be up there.
All right, 4 for me, Barry.
Well, you know what? It's making it easier. Take it off the board. It's fine. Barry, it's so early though. You don't know, you know?
It's then 2 or 3. Just 2.
Oh, wait, that's right. Never mind. I binged it. So I thought, I'm like, there's only 1 season. It's like, no, I just banged them out.
They might have done season 3.
I think it's 2. I'm not sure.
Nick says going into 3. Okay, so it's only been 2.
Yeah.
The Barry's like one of the first ones where it's like, it's a comedy that's not laugh out loud funny, that is still funny, but also like a really great drama. By the way, Henry Winkler, our boy, he's quarantined up.
What do you mean?
He's got the beard. He's got big, long hair.
Yeah. I love it. All right. I am down.
I was just on Corey G's podcast today, and he asked me my top 3 guests we've ever had. I had no idea. Who were your top 3 guests we've had?
I can't remember 3 guests. I would just pick like all the Sunny guys. Like Danny.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah. That's exactly what I did.
That's great. I mean, I know some people always bust my balls being like, every guest you have is like the best guest ever. And they really do just keep upping the bar. So I forget about like other ones, you know what I mean? But like, there's been several times where in the moment having them on, I'm like, we'll never top this. And we top it like 2 weeks later. All right. I will tell you, I am going to leave some shit on the table here that's going to like keep me up at night. and I'm going to leave some like high quality shit, like legendary TV making type of shit on the table. But I got to be true here. I got to be real. And when I think of that like HBO screen and the fuzzy snow, and then it cuts into the theme music, I'm gonna pick Entourage.
Ah, son of a bitch!
Yep. I mean, in the moment, that's a show that I don't even remember how the finale went. I remember the movie more than like the actual ending of the episode.
I just think you loved the movie.
The movie's great. The movie's like exactly what, Entourage was good at. It's like, it's fun. But I remember like the Sasha Grey episodes, I kind of forgot. I don't even know if I ever really.
Those episodes.
You what?
I love those episodes.
Yeah, you would. You fucking would. I don't even know if I know I've finished, to be honest. But when I first learned of it, when I first watched it, I don't think I've ever had as much fun binging a show as I did with Entourage. Because, I mean, it's just got a cast of characters that are memorable, legendary. I'll take it.
All right. I'll close it out then. I had a lot of comedy on here. I'll close it out with Silicon Valley.
Ooh. I wouldn't. That was not going to be on my list. You like that more than I do. I love it, but I know that's high on your list. I also think of my new love for Tom Middleditch. If I go back and watch it, I might think of it like totally differently.
I bet. You know what? I bet you would. I bet I would too.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I never thought he was funny on Silicon, but I never thought of him as like this comedic genius. And maybe watching it with a new eye of like, oh, that was funny the way you said that, or just that way or whatever.
That's true. That's a great point. Yeah, I thought it was fucking what's his name show.
Camille.
No,
TJ Miller.
TJ Miller. I always thought it was TJ Miller.
And he's like, forget about it. Yeah. So here's my problem: is I think Deadwood is unbelievable. I think Watchmen was one of the best like individual seasons I've ever seen, but it doesn't have the same like longevity as others. And I had planned on using this as my final pick because I know that nobody else on the planet Earth would pick it, but Entourage was still on the board. I love The Leftovers so fucking much. And I'm
I can't believe you didn't pick that. I mean, you used to write books about every Leftover episode.
I mean, that was, that I'm like one of 8 people who watched that show, but I thought it was fucking incredible. Probably because it's just, everyone was like, it's so like heavy and depressing. I'm like, yeah, welcome to my life. You know what I mean? Like, this is light work, dude. This doesn't faze me. But yeah, those are the 3: Watchmen, Deadwood, and Entourage. Leftovers being left off is gonna hurt me. Euphoria. I'm looking at some of the other ones.
I thought you were gonna put that one in there too.
No, I like it, but I would. It's not. If Euphoria got like canceled today, neither of us picked Eastbound and Down, did we?
No, I thought I was okay with it. I think Danny McBride's much funnier in idea than practice.
Really?
Yeah,
I think Danny McBride's fucking hysterical.
He almost is like Will Ferrell to me, where like I get more joy out of once I watch it. I laugh harder when I like recite the lines with my friends rather than like actually watching it.
I think what I like about Danny McBride is don't
get me wrong, that's not like a huge slant on Danny. I like Danny McBride. Yeah. It's not like I'm like he's the worst, but just like sometimes Danny McBride can be too Danny McBride.
I hear that. It's definitely over the top, but also in the same way, it's kind of like real and like that's like when you're just like, shut up, you stupid motherfucker. Like that's what you like say to your friends, and you don't hear that much in a TV script, but he like nails that. And I know it's not on Eastbound and Down, but like the scene in This Is the End with James Franco, where he's like, I'll fucking jerk off all over you. Want to give a fuck? Like that is Danny McBride to me, and there's a lot of that in Kenny Powers.
All right, well that's very. I love that scene. That's very.
I mean, so fucking good. And I think you got to give him like kudos for. I think anytime you have a legendary character, whether or not the show like performs all like to that level, but Kenny Powers, the catchphrases, all that. I mean, that's going down in history. So. Yeah, I mean, there's a few that are left off that I think you could probably make one more top 5 with our cutting room floor that I think would be a pretty solid list. Yeah. So when you think if HBO has like 15 shows that you'd be like, I'll watch all these, I think it's top heavy. I think it's like 15 and then like 20 that are like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know. Tweet at us your HBO top 5. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
No, I'm a fan of Rotten Tomatoes. They follow me inexplicably. I don't know why. So I'm always pumping Rotten Tomatoes.
They what?
They follow. They don't follow like a ton of accounts. But for some reason,
you're compromised.
I am for sale.
Yeah.
If you follow me, I will.
I'm for sale. You don't even have to give me money. You just have to follow me on social media, and I'll get you back.
Delia's biggest mistake was not following me after the show, singing a whole different tune.
All right, let's get into our voicemail.
What's going on, boys? I was just doing some yard work, and I had both of these things happen to me within a 15-minute span. It made me think of a would you rather. So, would you rather every time you go outside, there's a swarm of those little fucking gnats buzzing around your head, hitting you in the eye, going in your ear? Or would you rather every time you go outside, there's a pebble in your shoe that you step on with every step and you can't get out? I put some thought into it, and I think I would just kill myself. So let me know what you think.
I mean, I don't like the bugs, but I can't have like pain in my foot every time I take a step. That's like a pebble that's really like digging in. No way.
You can't hide the pebble?
Well, no, because I know what you mean. You kind of walk and you get it like into the arch, or you get it.
I'm a king. Like some people like bend over, take their shoe out. I just live with it. I get it between the big toe and the other toe.
Just hold it.
There's a big crevice there, and I just make a fist around it, and I'll just walk around with that all day. It's
Feits just has like a callus grows over it because he leaves it in there for like months on end. It's just the pebble just becomes part of your body.
you know, like orca whales, you got to get like the brine off them. I just have like rocks under my feet.
Boy, whoever had a orca whale brine reference on their bingo card, come on down, man. Jesus.
It just becomes part of me. It's like I intentionally do it in the summer.
What?
Yeah, it's called you put on your summer feet. So like I intentionally in the summer like walk everywhere barefoot. Yeah. I just like dude like it's not really still because we live in Manhattan, but like when I was living in Newport, I would just go to bars barefoot. I just get ready.
Bro, that is some hobo shit. You were walking into public watering holes and eateries with your bare feet.
I mean, they're like on the beach. Like it's like you know, there's like walk through sand to get to the bar.
That makes sense. But you wouldn't be at like a regular bar, right?
No, I would go if I had to go inside somewhere. I would have shoes on for sure. And like it's not a huge thing where I'd be like, I'm not wearing shoes. Yeah. Well, if I'm coming from the beach or something, I just leave like my flip flops in the car and walk in like that.
When I was a kid, and still to this day, but like my parents have a pebble driveway, and I mean, I remember as a kid being able to run like full speed on these rocks. And so one year we had like little pebbles that would hurt. And then one year we got like big stones. And I remember when we got the stones, it was like when you have a newly paved road on your rollerblades. I was like, this is a walk in the park. I'm gravy. But we would like run full speed, play like, I remember running the bases, playing baseball on rocks, no problem. Now I'm like, if I'm walking on it, I'm like, and it's funny. I watched Shay and Keegan do the same thing because it's the same driveway now. And they're out there like they don't give a shit. Kids, they don't feel pain. They don't get hot or cold until they do. They'll cry their eyes out over like one thing. But they're running around. They're soaking wet, and it's like not that warm out. I can see them like shivering, and they just don't fucking care. They're unaffected. I can't do that anymore.
In high school, me and my buddy used to see if we could get through full days barefoot. Like, cause
cool.
So we like it wasn't a regular high school. We had like a campus. We had to change buildings and stuff like that. So we'd walk around outside a lot. And it's one of those things where just like you wouldn't do that if you could just wear whatever you wanted. But with a dress code, you like see if you can get around stuff. Right. Like we had to wear blazers and say we'd like see if we could not wear the blazer and see if we could.
So you would wear no shoes and then like get to the building, like go into the classroom and no shoes on?
Yeah. Try to hide it. We'd like run away from the dean of discipline, like oh shit, Chenna was here. We'd run the other way to see like so he couldn't see our feet. Like it was such a weird thing to do, but for some reason we liked it.
What I'm learning here is fucking Johnny Bare Feet is like a whole persona.
Yeah, that's why my feet are so fucking weird. Probably I just didn't wear shoes. I was either wearing no sneakers or hockey skates. It was like the only thing I put my feet in.
Those things are like stumps. Just chop them off. Just throw them out. So I'm assuming you would go with the pebble then, because it's not.
Yeah. I hate bugs being around you. is almost like a poisonous thought because you're just like, what's wrong with me? Why are there bugs swarming me? And
you know what? I'm going to change my answer too because I just realized like, you can control how much you walk. Like I'll just get to the bar and then I'm just going to sit at the bar and I'm not going to be walking around. Whereas like you have to go outside. And if you get swarmed, I feel like Pigpen from fucking Peanuts where it's just like all around you.
Yeah, you get in your own head. You'd be like, do I stink? And then you'd be like, what are other people thinking about why there are only bugs around me? This wouldn't make any sense. I'd rather, like everything, internalize pain than have an external version of I don't know, poverty, I guess.
I also, I don't deal with this. Like, I don't get mosquito bites. They just don't bite me.
Really?
I'll get them here and there. Like, I'm not saying I've never had a bug bite, but I legit don't think I've ever been stung by a bee. And I will get like a single bite here or there. But when people come in from like, they're outside at like dusk and they come inside and they're like, oh my God, I just got eaten alive. I don't know. Maybe my body's just so shitty that they're like, I don't want that blood. We're not like, they can smell it on me. They're like, leave that bag of donuts over there. We don't need that. But I mean, I used to joke that like, I remember telling Caitlin, like I keep her around because she would just get bitten all the time and I would never have to worry about it. But I've never really been swarmed. So I feel like if I had to then all of a sudden deal with that, I'd be fucked.
I also am like particularly averse to this because when I was a kid, I was like, I got taken back to a horse stall by a horse. I was like horseback riding for my sister's like second birthday. So I was probably 4, maybe it was her 4th birthday. So I was 6, whatever. I was young and my horse just took off. He like wasn't interested in being on a horse walk around. It was like we were like walking trails and he went back to his stall and I had to sit there because no one was with me to take me off the horse because I was a little kid. Yeah. And I just sat there while like, horse flies or whatever the fuck they are in a horse stall just swarmed all around me. I had like a panic attack. I was like, ah!
Dude, it's just like all these things always end up making sense. It's like, yeah, of course John's fucked up. He had that time where he was like trapped in a horse stall with flies eating him.
For a long time. It's crazy. I don't know. Shouldn't the guy who was on the head have realized and like, he could ride a horse faster and you've ridden back and like either stopped the horse or gotten there.
I mean, you're lucky, by the way, he brought you back to the stall, right? He could have just fucking gone.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point. Yeah. It
was a birthday party?
It was my sister. It wasn't a party, really. It was just like an event. Something we did for my sister's birthday. Like, she didn't have friends there and stuff.
And where was Polly at?
I think they were all on horses.
Yeah, they were like, see you later. Polly with an all-time line this weekend. An absolute Hall of Famer. Put it in her quote book. Read it for me exactly. Set the scene.
Okay, so we're at the beach. It was my brother and his girlfriend, me and my girlfriend, my sister, my other sister, my mom, and my dad. And the siblings are kind of around, like some are laying on a beach thing. Like my parents are a little distance under an umbrella. And we're like, having a few drinks. We're all just talking about who wants kids and who doesn't and why and the problems with them, what joys they might bring, all kinds of shit. Mm-hmm. And my mom just kind of leans over because she's a little separated. And she goes, at the risk of being scarring, I don't really think kids make much of a difference in your life.
I mean,
it was
now she means like from like a fulfillment satisfaction. I mean, they very literally tangibly make your life different because you have to you can't do what you want anymore. You have to take care of your kids. So she's talking about from like an emotional point of view.
I don't know what she was talking about. I think she means everything. My dad.
This is not. I mean, you spend your time drinking and partying and traveling and doing whatever you want and sleeping, and then you have kids and you can't do any of those things ever again for the next 20 years. So unless she was still doing it.
I guess she was still doing it. I don't know. I really don't. My dad immediately chimed in. He's like, I beg to differ. Yeah. Like he was like, that's not accurate at all.
I can see people saying, everyone always uses the word fulfillment or purpose, and I get it. But also, if you're here for a good time, I don't think I would recommend having kids. But I do think you cannot say it does not change. I mean, my life is entirely different now. I actually realized.
I think that's just because you let it. Let me see if my mom will come up here. It's her birthday, by the way.
Oh boy. I mean, there's not a strong chance this happens, right? If Polly comes on right now, I will be over the moon. You know, I've never met Polly. How about that? I mean, it's almost like, like I made this reference earlier, the monster in the movie. It's like part of me wants to never meet her to just keep this allure going. But I feel like one of these days I'm going to have like a summit with Polly where we sit down and we just be like, let's go story for story with John Henry. And she starts from when he's like 2 and I start from when he's like 31 and we meet in the middle at like 15 because God knows she's got a whole, you know how I always say that part of my gig here is I'm like Feidelberg's muse or I pull it out of him. She's probably got that on lock.
All right. She's in the room. Yeah. She's not coming on camera, but she's in the room.
Okay. So I heard, first of all, it's crazy that we have not met. I was just saying.
Yeah, this guy.
Okay.
I was saying in my brief experience now, I don't think you can say that having kids doesn't change your life. I mean.
Oh, did I not say for the better?
Well, what was the exact line? You said at the risk of sounding scarring, I don't think it makes a difference. Was that what it was?
Doesn't change your life, comma, for the better.
She's saying we have made her life worse.
Right, no, I get it. Yeah, no, okay. That I understand. If the quote was having kids, it will ruin your life. I get that. I get that one.
Like that a little bit.
Okay, all right. So it's
and,
not that it doesn't.
I want to give you one more tip. That your children are small. So right now it's a physical job. So stay healthy. But as they get older, it's a head job, all psychological. So while you're staying well, get smart.
What is worse when you have to like run around and chase them and change their diapers?
That's super easy. That's super easy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're scaring me, Polly.
Yeah.
So what, the head game of when you have to like, discipline them and like get them to be good people and all that shit?
Yeah, like what's going on in their heads and what, really when they said something, what did they mean?
Yeah. How about when they think that they like are smart and that they know what's best and it's like, shut up, you idiot.
You can say that.
I think I'm going to hang on that one a lot. When they're like 13, just shut up, you idiots.
My favorite one was when Paulina was little and she was really attached and like she always touched and I don't like touch a lot. And I was on the phone with my sister and I just lost it and like, what am I, a fucking cat pole? No, you can't say that. You can't say that.
You write a book. We need the Polly Feidelberg book of parenting. It's amazing. Great stuff. Thank you.
That's all I've got. Good luck with your two or three.
Well, I have Keegan is turning 3 in July. Shay is turning 5 in December.
Okay. Good luck with the two of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
You will. Yep.
Thank you.
Call anytime. I'd love to give advice.
Thank you, Mother.
You're welcome. Nice meeting you, Kevin.
Nice to meet you too. I love you. That makes sense because I was like, there's no way you could say it doesn't change your life. She's saying it. Oh, it changes it. It's a fucking disaster.
It makes it way worse.
I reached my point. I recently realized, like when I first had the kids, I learned this about children and traffic. 2 things that as I got older, I realized you just can't let it bother you. Like when I used to be stuck in traffic, it'd be like, I have to get where I'm going so that I can do the thing I'm supposed to be doing. And then I realized like, if I get there in an hour, I get there in 2 hours, like what's the fucking difference? Right. Same thing with the kids where it'd be like, I have to get them to sleep so that I can watch some TV show and have some me time and like enjoy my night. And now like the nights I have my kids, I'm like, bedtime takes like 3 hours and then I go to sleep too. It's just, and it doesn't bother me anymore. It used to be like, fuck, I missed the game. I didn't see what's going on. I missed like whatever. Now it's like, I don't know, fucking who cares? It's another day of my mediocre life. Like, oh, you missed, an episode of TV. You're going to be dead soon. Who cares? Next voicemail.
What's up, KFC 5BC? I just got a quick question. I found myself in a pickle the other day. I was at a friend's house, and I got stranded there because of a wildfire. I live in a different town. Anyway, I was taking a shower, and I had some chafing going on, downstairs.
Wait. Can you pause this? Was the wildfire just a throw-in? Like this voicemail is going to be about chafing, and we started out with wildfires?
He never goes back to the wildfire.
I mean, okay, maybe we could talk about being stuck at someone's house because of wildfires before we talk about like jock itch. But okay, let's get on to the chafing.
And I didn't have anything to put down there to make it better. So basically my question is, can you ask your friend for a cream of sorts for your chafing problem? I guess what I'm saying is you have a very personal thing going on. Are you allowed to ask, even though you are uncomfortable?
Okay.
Can you explain this question? Sorry, I got a call right in the middle of that.
Long story short, he's got chafing. He's staying at a friend's house. He's chafing. And he wants to know, can you ask your friend for like some like cream, some medication? Like, I need some lotion or some like rash cream. Like, now I actually think the wildfire might come back into play. I think if you are staying with someone for like a normal amount of time and, you got some chafing, it's like, all right, I'll go deal with that when I'm home. If I'm trapped somewhere because of wildfires and I have like a physical ailment and there's no end in sight or something like that, I might be like, yo, can I, do you have this cream or some shit? I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever had chafing.
If
chafing is this big a deal. I've been a little irritated down there.
Yeah. I had a buddy who was.
I've never put a cream on it. Not once in my entire life.
I had a buddy who was a thick boy, and his like thighs used to rub together, and he said it was just like a fucking disaster at all times for him. He always had powder on deck. He always had like lube basically for his fucking legs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is gonna be. I don't think I have enough.
You take a shower, dude. That's what I do. You take a shower.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, or just go take things. Yeah, everyone.
I was gonna say, just listen. We all do it. You go to someone's bathroom, you open up their cabinet, and you snoop around. You see what's in the mix. You see, oh, that's for an STD. Oh, you got any of the good stuff. Oh, what's this? What's that? And if they have your cream, you put it on. And if not, they don't have it because they don't have a pharmacy in the back, bro. They have what they have in their bathroom.
I think we got a problem in this world where everyone thinks everyone cares what they're doing. You got to stop, and it's a problem. I've realized being home, everyone's got to announce whenever they leave the room. Just leave the room. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You're like,
I'll be right back. I gotta go grab it. I don't fucking care, dude. Just go.
You leave the room at 11 p.m. I just assume you're probably going to bed.
Sleep. Yeah.
You don't need to be like, hey, I'm going to bed. Good night. Like, I don't fucking care. Just go to bed, dude.
Don't you dare say good night to me, you fucking assholes.
Right, and especially if you only get one good night too, or a goodbye. You can just leave places. You don't have to make a big thing out of everything. I'll see you again later. The goodbyes. I forgot. So you had to come back in because they forgot their sunglasses. They said goodbye again. You already said goodbye to me. I don't need another goodbye. The fucking. If you want to go, be like, you don't need to tell me you got jock itch or whatever. Go to the bathroom, find some lotion or baby powder or whatever it is you need. Yeah. Go take a shower. I don't care. I don't need to know everything you're doing. Just go fucking do it.
I think if you have like any access to a car or a store, like you just go get it, like unless you're trapped in like the fucking cabin in the mountains or something, just fucking go handle your shit. Amazon that stuff. I don't know.
There's so little information that needs to be shared in the world. And this has become a drum I beat quite often now. It's really, I just want to live in seclusion. I've gone on texting. I'm now just going on just basic communication. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know it all. I'm fine seeing you in the morning. I'm fine seeing you in an hour. I'm fine seeing you next week. We don't need to make announcements about ever. Hey, I'm going to the bathroom. I don't give a shit. Like excusing yourself. Excuse me, I gotta go to the restroom. I don't fucking care where you're going. You're getting up from the table. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but at the same time, you're a big manners guy. If I were to just get up from the dinner table and walk away, you would be upset by that.
Yeah, no, that one's. I wouldn't be upset, but like, yeah, I guess it's.
I think you just say, excuse me. You don't have to tell me why. Like you're getting up and you don't want to be rude excuse me, I'll be right back. You don't have to be like, I gotta go like fucking wipe my legs because there's rashes or something. Like,
Right.
I don't need to know that.
It's all nonsense. I read something recently where someone said that manners and tradition and all that is just peer pressure from dead people. And I was like, you're right. I'm tired of being peer pressured by dead people. I'm fucking over it. I'm not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah. Think about how many things we carry on that like probably made sense at one point. That's just like, give me a fucking break. We're still
The handshake is just to show we don't have a weapon.
Yeah, right. I think the necktie is a weird one. I think there's some fashion things that we do that I'm like, I don't get where that comes from. A lot of like things that we say, a lot of the greetings. All of it's like, we don't need to do this.
You know where cheers comes from? It's like to show you both came from the same glass. I don't know what that means. My mom's taking a class, the sociology of food. She's basically just been learning about cannibalism thus far. She talks about it nonstop. Every dinner we have, it's like, let me tell you about what I learned about cannibalism today. And she's
She's the star of KFC radio. She is.
You know what? She's learning about cannibalism, and she has now learned, or in her mind realized, that all Catholics are cannibals. She's like, this wasn't in her book. This is just her own mind making the connection. She's like, it's just the ritual of communion is just a ritual where we're magically turning it into Jesus Christ and we're eating him. That is cannibalism. Like,
you know what?
Right? That is just cannibalism.
Were you on, this might have been a CCK thing. Are you on board with me with at least wanting to try human flesh or no?
I don't have a great desire to go, but I'll put anything you put in front of me, I'll eat it. If you, I would be like, get this away from me. I'm not going to go out of my way to do it, but I'd eat it if it was there.
You think Polly would whip us up some human?
Probably. She's a good cook.
That's what I mean. Like, if I do eat human flesh, I wouldn't want it to be cooked by me. I don't cook very well. But I imagine Polly could rattle those pots and pans. So if I just gave her like a chunk of human, she could season it and cook it up, and then we could eat it. And I know that the human I'm eating is well cooked. And I know that she won't have like a moral opposition because she's Polly. Yeah. So she might be the linchpin for this whole operation, you know?
If we got her some, she's big on cannibalism now. So if we got some, she'd cook it up.
All right. That's enough for voicemails today. It's now on to one of the more, you asked me like who our favorite interviews were. And I think this is one of the more important ones we've done. Eric Andre is an interesting cat where it's like, I feel like he has the respect of like everybody. Everybody really like knows what he's capable of, knows that he can do a brand of humor that maybe only like two other guys out there can do. And to get to look behind the curtain and kind of see, how the wizard does it was very, very interesting. Very funny cat. Very good interview. It's Eric Andre and KFC Radio, brought to you by Roman. What are we doing with Roman today? We doing we getting your face to be less ugly? Are we getting your dick to work better? Oh, today's your face. Actually, when you think about it, all of it gets your dick working better. If you have a pretty face, people want to use you and have sex with you. You use your dick gets better. So in a weird way, all of this ends up being good for your dick. But we're talking directly about your face. You can get your over-the-counter stuff. You can order your stuff at CVS. But if you want to fix any facial problems, you got to go with a prescription solution from real doctors, whether it's acne and redness and dark spots and wrinkles and bags, all that stuff, especially we've been talking about having kids. When you have kids, your face just gets gross. It's just, you don't sleep, you don't eat right, everything gets gross. So if you want to combat that, you got to go with Roman. You hop on the computer, get a free online consultation, and a U.S. licensed physician will get back to you within 24 hours. They will prescribe you a custom blended treatment plan based on your skin and your priorities, and you'll get free 2-day shipping as well as free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor if you need to make any changes when you go to getroman.com/barstool. It's getroman.com/barstool, getroman.com/barstool. 3-month supply of nightly defense for your skin for just $5. What? 3 months?
For $5?
For $5?
I mean, this is just, you're just stupid if you don't buy this. Like sometimes a deal is so good, you just have to take it.
Yeah.
This is one.
This is like the Omaha Steaks of your face.
Right.
You know? GetRoman.com/Barstool for $5. You get a 3-month supply of the Nightly Defense for your skin. It's a free chat with a doctor, and the first order is just Finsky, $5. GetRoman.com/Barstool. Eric Andre on KFC Radio. Enjoy it.
Hey.
Yo,
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Stop.
How we doing?
Where's Nick Hamilton?
He's that camera right there.
I don't speak until I see Nick's face on the
Feits
fucking
Hamilton.
camera.
There he is.
Yeah, you little fucking sneaky son of a bitch.
All right, I'm gonna go hide now.
Put your pants on.
Run away.
Dude, what is going on?
What's happening?
What are you
Booyakasha.
hiding in a corner here? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm in my kitchen.
All right.
You don't want
Is
to
this
get
more to your liking, Kevin?
You don't want like people to be like, oh, celebrities, they're in their beautiful backyards again. We've been saying that since
I'm on basic cable, guys. I do not have that much money. You're not.
Since that video went viral to start, I've been saying to like almost every celebrity we've had on, I'm like, you're just in the corner right now. We did Kevin Bacon the other day. Kevin Bacon was just sitting in front of a door. That was it.
Oh, why? Oh, you talking about the Imagine video?
Yeah.
Video? Yeah. No, I do not have a backyard like, I don't know, Lena Dunham or whatever schmuck was on that video. Imagine my backyard.
Eric Andre, you are like the craziest motherfucker I know. I feel like it's just got to be like I feel like it's either stressful to be you or not stressful at all because you're like bulletproof. You can't be flustered. You're always the one fucking with other people. Nobody can fuck with you.
I'm sensitive, man. I'm an Aries. I'm a sensitive little flower.
I mean,
Like the opposite. I'm very touchy.
Dude,
What about this? Is this better? This is.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
back there. Yeah.
Boom.
Beautiful.
You're gonna see my bar. I've been drinking a lot over.
Holy
shit.
moly.
Yeah, baby. Let's have a drink.
Were
What
those
have you been
empties?
drinking?
If you like pina coladas, I've been making pina coladas like I'm like a Jimmy Buffett fan. I swear to God, this is
Wait. You're just like in your house making pina coladas?
in my house drinking pina coladas out of a pineapple. I've been buying pineapples, cutting them, like gourding them and filling them with rum and.
Shut up. No, you haven't.
That's crazy.
I
That
bullshit you not.
Out of all the shit you do, that might be the craziest move.
If you like pina coladas, they're so fucking good. I don't care what anybody says. I'll drink 100 of them to the dome. They're so incredible.
Do you think you're a superhero at all? Like, do you
No.
think
You
at least, you know, from what I know.
I'm very weak. You should see me without my shirt off. I got like 6 tits like a dog.
Take your shirt off then. Do it, man. Just pop
But you don't have the ability to, or maybe you're great at hiding it, you know. But like you don't have the ability to get embarrassed. Like you are the.
No, I'm embarrassed. I mean, you should see me walking around. I mean, I get embarrassed every day.
Maybe
I'm
embarrassment.
flattered you think that, but I'm a sensitive little.
How about awkwardness? Like you don't feel awkward.
I'm awkward. I'm embarrassed.
All right. I can understand that you might feel it, but like normal people walk in a room or a bar or a meeting or an whatever, and they're afraid of like awkwardness. If there's silence, they have to speak, and if someone says something, they have to respond. Whatever. I feel like because you like that's your comedy. I feel like you just know that what's going on there, and you'll never be like out.
Why do you think I drink 20 pina coladas a day? That's why. It's the cure for embarrassment.
Or you're.
No, I don't know. I'm flattered you think that, but I am. If you prick me, I bleed or whatever. I'm as human as everybody else.
In that sense, like it sounds like we're reading into it too much. It sounds to me then like your comedy and the pranks or when you make other people feel awkward, is that just like, hey, I'm doing it for a laugh and there's really nothing more like under that? Because to me, it feels like it's this, cerebral, well thought out, like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's joke by joke. Some jokes are like existential and cerebral, and sometimes the fart sound is funny to me. You know what I mean? So I think it's the whole spectrum. I don't know. It's joke by joke.
Do you like when you see kind of, obviously it's like a big trend on, like TikTok in particular, TikTok and YouTube. Like, do you look down on pranksters like that? Or are you like, oh yeah, boys, like hone your craft?
I think it's case by case. I think like pranks shouldn't be mean. Like if it just feels like you're being mean, then it's like not that funny or interesting. But if you're being like absurd and bizarre and you're cramming like absurdity and surreality into reality, then that's interesting to me. And
so how do you think of that? I'm thinking.
I drink a lot of coffee, and I've done it. I try to do acid at least once a year.
Is that true?
I don't, but I try to. I'm a little bit getting kind of too old for acid. That's wrong. But I think there's positive effects from a psychedelic experience. At least
when you say once a year, do you when you try to do it at least, do you pick out like, all right, like July 16th is going to be good. I got a few more months to go.
It's usually July 16th, and I go to the public library, and I just fucking get ripped.
Is that how you're like, all right, I dropped some acid. I saw myself as a fucking centaur carrying around the cake. Like, let's do it.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, I just mean, like, if the question was, where does inspiration come from? It's really coffee more. I think coffee's the best drug on earth. I don't think it's acid. I think that it's really just me and a bunch of comedians. We're in the writer's room, and we're just cracking each other up. And it also comes from experience. We know, like, kind of what to write and what not to write and what's going to work and what's not going to work. So it's experience, and it's like surrounding yourself with good and funny people. I don't do it alone. That's really what it is.
Do you prefer that process, like the being in a room with funny people, or do you prefer the stand-up where you're promoting legalize everything now?
I like it all. It's more fun with the writer's room because it's like a group of 10 of my friends just cracking each other up for a couple weeks. But yeah, that's where 99% of the writing comes from. And then me and my writing partner, Dan Curry, will go through all the notes that we came up with in the writer's room, and we'll kind of pick our favorites, and we'll rehearse them with my director. We kind of, there's a process. It's not completely spontaneous. But then once we're filming, we improvise within the premise of whatever bit we wrote.
How long does the filming take?
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
2 weeks on the streets of New York and 4 weeks in the studio in LA.
Dude, that's way quicker than I thought.
Yeah, it's quick. We don't have that much money. We gotta fucking just gotta shoot.
Even still, though, at this point, like, very successful, people know who you are. You still get all the filming you need to get in that 2 weeks? Because I would imagine at this point, like, some people are onto the joke. Some people know who you are. It's not as easy to get.
Yeah, it's not as easy, but we figured it out. I mean, for season 5, the Eric Andre show that we just did, I gained 20 pounds. I bicked my head bald. I got rid of all my body hair. I waxed. I spray tanned every day. I bleached my teeth. I made myself look like totally insane so that I wouldn't get recognized that much. And then we just avoid the demographic. We don't prank people like in their 20s. We try to prank people in their 40s, 50s.
Really? So like you see like young kids or something, you're just like, nope, not even.
Yeah, I'm not doing hidden camera pranks at like a skate park. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
People will be like, ah!
Do you, I guess you kind of maybe explained this already through like experience, but do you have a feel for like when a prank's going too far? Like we had a guy who used to kind of be associated with us. Now he's trying to make it on TikTok, and he went down in the subway and spilled a giant fucking bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of coronavirus and everything. And I mean, people fucking hated this kid for it. and I feel like honestly,
the MTA came out and was like, they just made an announcement about it.
This is a crime. Like we need to process this. But I feel like if I saw you do that, I'd be like, I don't know, it's kind of fucking funny.
Hey, I did do that like 5 years ago, so now I'm going to sue this son of a bitch for plagiarism. No,
yours. I've seen yours. I saw his, and I was like, that was kind of dickish, man. And I saw yours, and it was the Fruit Loop Factory where you didn't get a job.
Yeah, Fruit Loop Factory. Yeah,
right? And like I was fucking in tears with that. Like, what's the difference?
Why? Why is that?
I think because there was a little. His was just intentionally destructive, so he just went on and spilled shit, and that like the joke ended there. For me, there was like not to pat myself on the back, but there's like a little more nuance to the joke. I have like a neutered dog cone around my head, a weird Fruit Loops factory, and also my character in that moment's motivated. He's like down in the dumps. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, I have bad news. I did not get the job at Fruit Loops. My body is now your communion. Please eat from me. I didn't just go on and attack people. I had like I was in character, and this character is going through. It was you empathize for that character. He's like being shit on by life, you know? So that little bit of motivation allows me to go to, La La Land, I guess.
Do you think that?
I don't know.
Do you think that means? I think that makes total sense. But do you think that means?
Motivate? Yeah, you got to motivate your anarchy. I think if you just go out and go blah, you're annoying. But if the character I'm playing is if their intentions are good, they're just a fuck up. Then it's like this like little nuanced thing that motivates the chaos and makes it okay.
That same one, that same skate when you were the highlight guy selling.
Oh yeah,
he was selling hot candy out of the highlight. I don't even know what you're called.
They're called Zisteras or something like that. Words.
He just fucking
fastest ball. That is the fastest ball in any sport, and you can die if it hits you in the head.
Yeah, my Spanish teacher was a former highlight star. That's when I came to America. Señor Garena. Yeah.
No way. Yeah, la gusta la gasolina. Dame más gasolina. Damn, what you drinking, my man? Vodka?
Yeah, straight vodka from the bottle. You know
What's
it,
your drink of choice? I'll tell you a cocktail recipe. I'm learning cocktails. Look at this.
Okay. I'm a bourbon guy.
Bourbon. Okay. Bourbon, you can make a Manhattan, you can make a Brooklyn. There's different variations of the Manhattan. There's the Brooklyn. You need vermouth. It's easy. You don't need too much.
You're in the early stages of drink learning.
Yeah,
I'm in the early stages, but I'm not like a bourbon guy. I like tequila, I like rum, I like gin, I like vodka.
What do you like with gin?
Bourbon's okay, but I usually just like splash a little club soda on top.
When you tell people like I'm gonna hit you with a recipe, and then you say a fucking Manhattan, come on.
I'm a vodka right away. I mean, I actually have to look up. I'd have to like look through my little dorky like Me Hands cocktail guide cookbooks.
Everyone's got
a real recipe.
What have you been doing with gin? I'm trying to get on the gin game.
Gin is a scary one, bro.
Gin is great. I've been doing there's something called a bramble that I've been making with gin. It's just lemon juice, creme de mure, and I want to say like simple syrup and gin.
I had something like that one the other day that it also had egg yolk in it.
Oh yeah, gin fizz.
I forget what it was called, but it had like that silky taste.
Either Gin Fizz or Ramos Gin Fizz.
Oh, we know it was. Yes, and Gin Fizz is exactly what it was.
Yeah.
See, I think this is what like a lot of women I saw on social media have been baking sourdough bread during quarantine. Yeah, and I think most guys were like, I'm going to become a mixologist.
Yeah. You got to drink your way through this.
I feel like you're just drinking like 15 pina coladas mixed in with some bourbon and some tequila. Are you just like shit-faced all day, dude?
I'm pretty much shit-faced right now, to be honest with you. My secret ingredient in all my cocktails, little Vicodin at the bottom.
That'll do it every time.
That'll kick it up a notch.
Yo, do you think that you could get like Eric Andre? Like, what would you do if you walked into a talk show or something along those lines?
If I got pranked, if they saw my show and they were trying to fuck with me, I would sniff it out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But on my show, Dennis Rodman was almost impossible to prank because no matter what you say to him, he's like, like he's way crazier than anyone you've ever met. So like you can't out crazy him.
I think I'm obsessed with him. I've written about him. We had him on the show, and I think the best way, if you just need to say like explain Dennis Rodman in a sentence, I think prank proof would be it. Like he's so out there that he cannot be fucked with. That's it.
And he would be the only celebrity we had. He would only accept cash. We had to pay him in cash.
Dude, we had him on our show, right? First of all, before he came in, this is obviously pre-quarantine stuff. Before he came into the studio, he had one of his men come up. And by man, I mean, he's like a 20-year-old social media guy. And he told the whole office that when Dennis comes in, he prefers to be bowed to. And everyone thought he was kidding. And then Dennis, when he left, he ended up being pissed that we didn't all bow. And then when we sat down, he was in the studio before us. So when we sat down, he didn't even miss a beat. He just goes, You guys ever watched a horse fuck a girl? And we were like, what, man?
Oh.
and then went on to tell us not just the time he went to one in Mexico, but also the underground horse shows he's found in his travels around America.
In America, you can watch a girl fuck a horse in America. I did not know that.
Oh my God.
He was like taken aback. We were like, really? He's like, oh yeah, Oklahoma's got a bunch, Oregon's got a bunch.
He knows the whole map. Whoa. He told me, I go, have you ever kissed a dead girl? And I meant it as a joke question. And he was like, yeah. I kissed my friend. She died. I kissed her on the lips. And I go, at the funeral? And he was like, no. And I was like, what?
That is.
Where else would you have access to a corpse? And why would you kiss that corpse on the lips? That's fucking dark and weird.
No. Yeah, that there's no more follow-up questions there. Like, okay, next topic. Oh, he's crazy, man.
Totally.
So the new special, Legalize Everything,
Yes.
already making a few waves with this the joke about cops, which is
I wrote that joke 15 years ago, and thank God I waited a decade and a half to release it the day Cops gets canceled after 33 years. It's like, all going according to my plan that I never came up with.
Serendipity, man. I mean, it's huge, and I love the fact that some people pressured you to take it out, and you were like, "Fuck out of here, get out of here." That's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't pressure to take it out. It was just like they were like, "Are you gonna keep that shit?" Or and I was like, "Yes, this is like the best time." Or like, should we go forward with this? It was like, yes, this is the timing is impeccable. And then it was obvious and everybody came around.
I mean, I know the topic is touchy right now, but the actual...
Why?
Well, what's going on?
What's going on? I haven't read a newspaper in a while. What's going on out there?
The actual content of that joke, though, is pretty just like, it's like observational humor and funny. It's not like that crazy. It's just like...
that's what my rebuttal was. I was like, it's really a joke about a reggae song more than anything else.
Right.
But
now a lot of stuff's making a lot of sense, by the way. You're just in that mode, huh?
What's that?
Now the pina colada stuff's making a lot of sense. You think reggae and dancing and drinking. But I mean, yeah, that's great.
I'm so sad. All I said was to drink a Manhattan. I just like bourbon's the one spirit that I'm like, I don't know, fucking throw vermouth and an ice cube in it.
But that's actually also perfect for like I basically just drink it on the rocks, or I'll do
it bourbon. I don't know. Just drink it up. Put ginger ale in it. I don't know. Fucking.
I had one the other day.
Boulevard. It's all bourbon is like vermouth. That's the only thing people put in it. Vermouth, Campari. Sorry, we can go back to politics. Cops. Bad boys. What you want? What you gonna do?
It's a great song. It's a fucking great song, to be honest.
Killer song.
Oh shit!
These guys have been making a sweet paycheck over the 33 years.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Bad Company or something? Inner Circle.
It's a long ass.
That's a real song.
Yeah, it's a song with a real band.
So you think they're pumped about that? They must because of the paycheck. But like sometimes you want to be known for your art, right? Like that was a song. I
think they broke up like a year after that song came out. Like, they like formed in 1988, then they disbanded in 1989. I doubt they're still a band. You know how hard it is to keep a band together? It's a nightmare.
You have trouble with that with like your writing crew? Do writing crews have the same environment that a band does?
Yeah, everything's a relationship. You know, you have good days and bad days. It's like being in a band or any working relationship. Being in a band is like, it's like having 5 girlfriends, and and each one has their own personality, and you got to figure out. You know, it's all everything's a relationship. You know, there's a work relationship, there's a friend relationship, there's every type of relationship has its drama.
I feel like the comedy world as a whole has like a band vibe, but where everyone's also a solo artist. Yeah. I feel like there's so much like.
I guess it's about. I mean, stand-ups, yeah, but you know, there's sketch groups and there's like whatever, writing groups and
some other shit, whatever, dude.
Other bullshit.
Podcasts, a lot of those.
Yeah, a lot of fucking
whiskey in you.
Yo, when was the time you thought you were the closest to death doing one? Because we read, obviously, in Bad Trip, you have quite the story where you almost killed.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, that's my only. That's the closest I've been to death.
Real
So-
more than when you were on stage with fucking what's his tits?
Alex Jones. Oh
Alex
yeah, that's up there. But no weapon was brandished in that scenario with Alex Jones.
What do you do in that moment when this guy pulls out a fucking gun?
Well, he pulled out a knife. He was looking for his gun, and he pulled out his knife. So we had our dick stuck in a Chinese finger trap. We went into the hood. We went to this hood-ass barbershop. The dude looked for his gun. He was like, fuck, get the fuck out of here! Because we're like, sir, can you get our dicks out of this penis trap? And then we were stretching our dicks back and forth. And then
Are we going actual dick or prosthetic?
Yeah, did you really do that?
No, it's a prosthetic. It's a realistic looking prosthetic so that we can stretch it like a mile. I want to be able to do that with my real dick. But he pulled out a knife and he chased us, and we could barely run in that contraption. We're like, ah! It's a fucking nightmare.
See, that's what I mean. Like, if anybody at Barstool ever came to me and was like, I got this idea. You and John are going to go out with your dicks in a finger trap. I'd be like, no, that's fucking stupid. But then you
want security. You want to like run that bit through your legal department, and you want security with you like on the sidelines. So I would suggest that.
What if Chinese finger trap dick pranks are on the table? What's off the table? What do you say no to?
You do. I think there's good bad taste and there's bad taste, and you try to just like hunt for the good bad taste. It's case by case, and I don't know. You just got to trust your instinct.
An example of recently somebody threw at you that you were like, no fucking way.
No, I'm usually lobbing out the bad ideas. It's usually my director being like, "That's a bad idea." Please. I had a bit. I wanted to do a hidden camera bit where I had like all four. My arms and legs were broken, and I was in a wheelchair, and then I was going to wheelchair down an escalator, like hand over feet, like at the mall, and be like, ah. And my stunt coordinator and my director were like, no, don't do that. You'll like really be like incapacitated. You'll need that wheelchair at the end of the.
How many times you ended up in the hospital?
I ended up in the hospital this season of Eric Andre's show because John Cena threw me through a shelf, which was fine. But then the shelf had a metal frame and it fell over and it clocked me right in the head and I got a concussion. I was like total like Tweety Bird. So I had to go get a CAT scan in my brain. Yeah.
For the love of the game, dude. Go out there and
the love of the game. John Cena felt so bad. It wasn't his fault. It was like he did the stunt perfectly. It just like the thing fell down on my head. And he still checks in with me like, how's your brain?
He is like the #1 Make-A-Wish guy, right? He has like the Guinness World Record for most Make-A-Wishes.
I'm not surprised by that at all. He is such a sweetheart. He's like a gigantic teddy bear.
He's just trying to see if he's going to put you on the list soon.
Hopefully, maybe. We're going to be fucking hospital bound. Yeah, that was rough. Season 4, I put my hand through glass and had to get stitches. It's rough.
When was season 4? Like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, we took 3 years off to make the movie. So
right.
So it's like season 4. The movie took forever. Then we just filmed season 5. We're almost done with it. This is going to come out at the end of the year.
I thought you took it off just because like people were too hot to you, kind of deal.
No, I just like gained 20 pounds and got rid of all my body hair, and that solved the problem.
and I think it was after the Chinese finger trap that your co-host was like, or your co-star was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, really? Yeah, that was the first day of filming, and he was like, I'm done. I quit. I'm not doing this. This is a nightmare. I have kids. I don't want to die. And I was like, no. That was great footage, though, man. You got to see it in the editing bay, man. And he was like, so he almost quit, but we won him back, and we finished the movie.
When you're choosing pranks, do you choose like who your star? Are you like, all right, this star would work better, or this person would work better with me?
We created the character. His name is Bud in the movie. We created the character first, and we watched a million audition tapes. And Rel right away was the first person we saw. And we unanimously were like, "He's the one." It was like very clear he was the right person. And then I'll tell you this: Tiffany Haddish wasn't in the movie originally. We had this woman who was her name is Kia. She was a female wrestler, like a WWE kind of wrestler. And she had to drop out because of she's on Glow. She had to drop out because of her schedule. And then when the knife got pulled out on us and Rel almost quit, he's friends with Tiffany. So he called Tiffany Haddish, and he was like, dude, Eric Andre almost got me killed. I don't want to do this fucking movie anymore. This shit is dangerous. This is insane. And she was dying laughing and called me 5 minutes after that phone call with Rel and goes, yo, she went, yo, Eric, you almost got Rel killed? I was like, yeah. And she goes, dude, I want to do your movie. I love that shit. I was like, what? Really? Like, so totally like from the universe. She like, the one woman dropped out and she came in and she's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it. Fuck it.
That's awesome.
If you're
Yeah,
gonna
she was like thrilled that we're getting like knives pulled out on us. She was like, that's awesome. I love doing prank shit.
Has there ever been any plans for like, or has it already happened? Is there any Eric Andre, Sacha Baron Cohen, Johnny Knoxville, whoever else you put in that pantheon? Have you guys ever collabed or thought about it?
Oh
Or
man,
if
I would love to. I'm buddies with those guys.
Is that who you think of, by the way? Like what your other, your contemporaries who kind of do it on your level? Is it those guys?
Yeah, well, I grew up on them. They were like Jackass came out when I was in 12th grade, and Ollie G Show came out when I was in college. So I just like watched every episode over and over and over again. Those guys are like my mentors because of the forefathers of pranks, and they're much more brave than me. Like
College, by the way,
I fucks with bulls. Like I would never fuck with a bull.
Yeah.
That's sharp horns, 2 tons coming at you. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a Berkeley guy until today.
Yeah. Wasted a lot of money.
Wait.
Wasted a lot of money. You want to see my bass? Here, this is what I wasted 4 years of music school on. Can you see that down there?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You really wasted it because that's actually a cello.
This is a bass. A cello's smaller. Get it right or pay the price.
I think everybody.
I played Mary Had a Little Lamb over and over again.
I mean, everybody kind of jokes like, "Oh, I wasted money in college." You fucking wasted money in college.
Wasted money in college. I mean, this is useless. The thing is,
it's like, yeah, man, I play the bass, but I fake puke and then eat the fake puke for a living.
It prepared me for the fake puke eating.
You said, I think it was, I was reading an old interview with you in Esquire, I think, where you were saying that like jazz prepared you for something like this. Or maybe the interviewer posed that to you, but you were kind of just like, yeah, you got to be a little crazy to do jazz music. And that's kind of the life I've gone into.
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Whatever I said in that interview sounds a lot more. I made a lot more. I was a lot less drunk in those days. So, repost that interview. Tweet it out.
Everything's out now. Is it easier? Like, are you a little more when you're just on stage and you write your material and you're telling jokes and you don't have to worry about concussions and knives and all that shit? Is it less stressful or is it?
I think stand-up's harder. Stand-up's harder than that shit. Yeah, right. It's like prank jokes are actually like better if they're simplistic. But stand-up, it really had to, for it to work night after night after night, it really has to be like something great. It's hard. I think stand-up's hard. So I don't know. They all have their own challenges, but yeah, they all take a tremendous amount of work.
Well, we thank you for the time. Everyone should go watch the special on Netflix, Legalize Everything. You are one of a kind, brother. So
thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Stay safe, dude.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, y'all.
Enjoy those pina coladas.
Sounds good.
Later.